Chapter 987. Chapter 985. Feng Tianlong's request. So even without his relationship with Feng Tianlong, Lin Yi wouldn't be stingy with his deskmate, Xiao. Plus, he'd touched her breasts before, so Lin Yi felt a little apologetic. Thank you so much. Feng Tianlong didn't know what to say after hearing Lin Yi's words. Feng Tianlong knew the importance of pure qi, and he didn't think that Lin Yi would agree without hesitation. It's too early to say thank you. Lin Yi waved his hand. It seems that pure qi isn't very effective for Xiaoxiao's illness, and there's no possibility of curing her. Yeah. Feng Tianlong sighed and said bitterly, we can only try our best now. Other than that, what else can we do? Lin Yi, do you really have no other way? Could he save Feng Xiaoxiao? She's so pitiful. Tang Yun couldn't bear to see Lin Yi do what he could out of consideration for her feelings, or because he hated Xiaoxiao to begin with. Yeah, can we think of something else? That pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Is it useful for Xiaoxiao? Feng Tianlong looked at Tang Yun gratefully before asking anxiously. That pill doesn't have much use. Lin Yi shook his head. But I can give you one. It won't hurt even if you don't eat it. Tianlong paused. From what he saw, even if Lin Yi agreed to give him a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, he wouldn't give it to him for free. After all, that pill was sold for over 400 million at the auction. No matter how good their relationship was, Lin Yi wouldn't just take it out so casually. After all, there was a cost involved. But Feng Tianlong didn't think that Lin Yi would be this generous, giving him one straight away. He was touched beyond words. How can I? One is a few 100 million. Feng Tianlong couldn't help but be moved. I can give you 10, Lin Yi said faintly. Sometimes, a friendship is a lifetime, isn't it? You're right. I'm being unreasonable. Feng Tianlong nodded. Tell me more about her condition and where you've seen her, and I'll think of something, Lin Yi said after a sigh. In truth, Lin Yi really didn't have any ideas. He'd never heard of Xiaoxiao's situation before, and if he really had to think of something, he'd have to get Tianlong to give him more information and ask his old man about it. Although he inherited a large portion of his old man's medical knowledge, his old man was still better than him in some areas. Xiaoxiao's illness actually starts from her mother. She died from this family hereditary disease, and when she died, she was only 20 years old. At that time, it was only because of a miracle doctor that she managed to survive until she was 20 years old. The other people in the family, on the other hand, only reached the end of their lives when they were 17 or 18. Feng Tianlong sighed. According to the hospital's analysis, there is an unknown substance in Xiaoxiao's blood, and no one knows what it is. Some say it's a blood defect, some say it's poison. The miracle doctor who treated Xiaoxiao's mother back then said that she was poisoned by a poisonous insect. Lin Yi frowned. Feng Tianlong basically didn't say anything, because there wasn't any important information. It made Lin Yi feel like he didn't know where to start. He just asked casually, that miracle doctor, who was he? From Lin Yi's perspective, it wasn't easy for that miracle doctor to keep Xiaoxiao's mother alive until she was 20 years old. His name is Lin Dongfang, and he was a famous miracle doctor for a time. The older generation all know his name. Feng Tianlong said. Lin Dongfang. Lin Yi's eyes went wide as he looked at Feng Tianlong. Are you sure that miracle doctor's name is Lin Dongfang? Yes. Why, Lin Yi, you've heard of this person too. Feng Tianlong paused when he saw Lin Yi's reaction, but he seemed to have thought of something. Your surname is Lin too, you can't be. Since he's seen it and there's nothing I can do. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He's my old man, the person who taught me medicine. Old man? He's your father? Feng Tianlong's eyes went wide as he looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. He didn't think that after 19 years, he would meet Lin Dongfang's heir, and they were both troubled by the same illness. Not my father. According to age, I can call him grandpa, but he said that we're not related by blood. He picked me up. Lin Yi didn't hide it this time. 1. Feng Tianlong was a trustworthy person, and 2. Tianlong knew Lin Dongfang. There was no need to hide anything from him. Man. Feng Tianlong sighed. It seems like there's really no other way. Lin Yi shrugged. There was nothing he could do. Xiaoxiao's illness was special, and there was no reference. Lin Yi didn't read anything about it in ancient books. Although Lin Yi sympathized with Xiao, there was nothing he could do. Uncle Feng, my condolences. It's human nature to grow old and die. Lin Yi sighed. But I'll try my best. Thank you. Feng Tianlong nodded sadly. He could only accept this reality. Lin Yi had no other way. He gave up completely. He didn't think that Lin Yi could think of anything. After all, even Lin Yi's master Lin Dongfang couldn't do anything. What could Lin Yi do? Xiao is already 19. I'm afraid she'll die in a year and a half. Feng Tianlong said sadly. Lin Yi didn't know what to say. He had seen too many people die, and Feng Tianlong was the same. But when it came to his daughter, he would still feel sad. Lin Yi, Feng Tianlong hesitated. I have a request. Please say it, Uncle Feng. Don't say anything. I'll do it if I can. Lin Yi said quickly. I can tell that Xiao likes you. Feng Tianlong raised his head and looked at Lin Yi. Probably, Lin Yi nodded and waited for Feng Tianlong to continue. Tang Yun's heart jumped. She raised her head as well. Chapter 988. Tang Yun's decision. Uncle Feng, you want me to be Xiao's boyfriend? Lin Yi naturally understood what Tianlong meant, but he shook his head. But, this isn't a game. Forgive me, but I can't agree to it. After all, I have feelings for Xiao, but I already have a girlfriend. Lin Yi, listen to me first. This is why I asked your girlfriend to come as well. Tianlong said. Although I know that this isn't fair to your girlfriend, as a father, I also want my daughter to be as happy as possible before she reaches the end of her life, without any regrets. Of course, I'm not asking you to break up with your girlfriend. You just need to pretend and play along. Trick Xiao and let her die without regrets. This is a father's wish. I hope you can agree to it. With that, Tianlong stood up and was about to bow to Lin Yi. Lin Yi jumped in fright and quickly got up to stop Tianlong. He smiled bitterly. Uncle Feng, what are you doing? If there's anything, let's discuss it. Why do you have to do this? Uncle Feng, I promise you. Lin Yi hadn't agreed yet when Tang Yun spoke up first. Uncle Feng, I'll cooperate with Lin Yi and put on a good show. I'll let Xiao walk the last part of her journey without regrets. Tang Yun was really touched. Plus, Tianlong made it clear that he only wanted Lin Yi to pretend to be Xiao's boyfriend. From Tang Yun's point of view, so what if it was real? What was there to fight with someone who was about to die? Even if she had to give Lin Yi to Xiao for a year, Tang Yun could accept it. After all, she and Lin Yi had a long road ahead of them, and Xiao only had less than a year to live. This was the unfairness of fate. Tang Yun sympathized with her, and naturally, she agreed to Tianlong's request without hesitation. Tianlong thought that Tang Yun was the biggest obstacle, but he didn't think that the first one to agree would be Tang Yun. This touched Feng Tianlong and made him fall in love with Tang Yun, this kind girl. Not every girl had this kind of selfless spirit. Tang Yun, thank you. Feng Tianlong thanked Tang Yun seriously. Don't say that. Xiao is my classmate, and I want her to be happy. Tang Yun shook her head. Thank you. Lin Yi, can you agree to my request? Tianlong knew that Lin Yi hadn't said anything yet. Although Tang Yun had agreed, Lin Yi was the one who was in charge. What else can I say? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Does this count as an order to hit on a girl? Haha. Tianlong heard Lin Yi's words and laughed happily. You guys can have more contact with each other. I'm not afraid of my daughter being taken advantage of, and I don't need you to be responsible. It's best if you have a son or daughter, and I won't be lonely when I'm old. Wah! Lin Yi's eyes went wide, shocked by Tianlong's words. Tang Yun's face changed as well. Let Lin Yi and Xiao have a child? Although Tang Yun sympathized with Xiao and was willing to let Lin Yi pretend to be her boyfriend, asking Xiao to have a child with Lin Yi, Tang Yun felt weird no matter how she looked at it. What would happen after the child was born? If Xiao really died, then Lin Yi would take care of a child, and she would be a stepmother? Tang Yun couldn't accept it, at least not now. How old was she? And she was already a stepmother. How strange. Uncle Feng, I'm afraid I can't agree to your request. Lin Yi shook his head and smiled bitterly. Lin Yi, I know you're worried about the child's future, but I can promise you that I won't let you take responsibility, and I won't let you take care of the child. Tianlong said. I will take care of the child myself. If you don't want to, I won't tell the child who his father is. Uncle Feng, let's put this aside for now, okay? Let's not talk about whether or not Xiaoxiao will agree. Even I don't have that deep of a relationship with her, so it won't be too late to talk about it when it really comes to that? Lin Yi waved his hand. Plus, if it really comes to that, I will recognize the child. I can't let the child be without a mother or a father. That. Okay. Tianlong sighed. Lin Yi's words sounded nice, but Tianlong knew that Lin Yi was just rejecting him in a roundabout way. Lin Yi and his daughter probably wouldn't get to that step for a while, and his daughter didn't have long to live. It would be too late in the future. Since Yun Yun has agreed, then I won't be unreasonable. I can only say that I'll do my best, but I won't abandon Yun Yun. If Xiaoxiao can accept Yun Yun, then there's no problem, but if she still rejects Yun Yun, then I won't let Yun Yun suffer. Lin Yi sympathized with Xiaoxiao and couldn't reject Tianlong, but at the same time, he didn't want Tang Yun to suffer for no reason. Lin Yi, I'm fine. Don't worry about me, it's just 1 year, I'll just endure it. Tang Yun quickly shook her head. She'd already made her decision, so how could she go back on it? Then we'll talk about it when the time comes. Lin Yi didn't continue this topic. Lin Yi, Tang Yun, I have one more request. Please don't tell Xiaoxiao the truth, and don't let her know that she has a terminal illness. She has a strong ego, and I'm afraid that she'll reject your good intentions if she knows the truth. Tianlong reminded. Don't worry, Uncle Feng. I know what to do. We won't say anything, Lin Yi nodded. Then I'm relieved. Tianlong said. Then there's nothing else. Do you guys have time? I'll treat you guys to a meal to express my gratitude. Uncle Feng, there's no need for a meal. Lin Yi waved his hand. Tang Yun and I still need to go back to school. Uncle Feng, you don't have to be so polite. You're asking me to date your daughter, and you're treating me to a meal? I feel very awkward. Haha. Tianlong was amused by Lin Yi. All right, then in the future when you come back with Xiaoxiao, we'll go for a meal. Lin Yi nodded and said goodbye to Tianlong, leaving Pengzhan Business Hotel with Tang Yun. In the car, Lin Yi turned to Tang Yun. Yun Yun, don't hurt yourself? Chapter 989. What do I mind? But you. Lin Yi thought that Tang Yun was going against her will, but it seemed like she was doing it willingly. I'm fine, really. If Xiaoxiao accepts me and lets me be by your side, then that's great. If she doesn't, then I'll just watch you guys from the side. Tang Yun said with a carefree smile. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything else. He really didn't think that things would come to this, and that Xiaoxiao had such a tragic background. It was impossible to tell from the surface, and if Tianlong hadn't told him the truth, Lin Yi would have thought that Xiaoxiao was just a healthy, naughty girl. The car stopped at the food street behind the school, and Lin Yi and Tang Yun went back to school together. Lin Yi and Tang Yun parted ways at the entrance of Class 9. Before they parted, Tang Yun winked at Lin Yi. I'm going back to class, you can start. Your plan to hit on girls. But don't make it real, I'm fine with it, but I'm worried that you'll be sad. Ha! Lin Yi smiled and walked back to his class. Aren't you going to the cafeteria to get something to eat? By the time Lin Yi got back, it was already the last class of the afternoon had ended. It was almost time for the self-study period, and the 12th grade self-study period lasted until 6 at night. Most students would go out to get something to eat at this time. I'll go alone, Tang Yun said. Why don't you go with Xiaoxiao? She'll get suspicious if the change is too sudden. Let's take it slow, Lin Yi shook his head. I'll ask her later, we'll go to the cafeteria together. Sure. Tang Yun nodded. Lin Yi was right. If Lin Yi did a 180-degree change in attitude, then Xiaoxiao would really get suspicious. Back in the classroom, Lin Yi saw Xiaoxiao sitting alone in her seat. His heart ached. Xiaoxiao didn't have any real friends, and all the other students in the classroom had gone out to buy food. Only Xiaoxiao was there. Lin Yi quickly walked to the seat and sat down. Xiaoxiao raised her head when she heard the noise. It was Lin Yi, and she couldn't help but be happy. You're back. What took you so long? Didn't you buy something to eat? The self-study session ends at 6:30, 2 hours. Aren't you hungry? Lin Yi didn't answer Xiaoxiao's question. Xiaoxiao paused, not expecting Lin Yi to show concern for her. She got a little excited. I haven't eaten yet. Do you want to eat? Shall we go to the cafeteria together? I'm going with Tang Yun later, Lin Yi said faintly. He couldn't let Xiaoxiao see through him. What he said earlier was a lot better than usual, so Lin Yi had to be careful. Oh, I'll go too. Xiaoxiao was annoyed. She thought that Lin Yi was starting to care for her, but it seemed like he was just asking casually. She said, not willing to lose. Do whatever you want. Lin Yi didn't reject her like he usually did. With that, he walked out of the classroom. Xiaoxiao quickly followed, walking beside Lin Yi. She didn't believe that Lin Yi would be able to resist her intense pursuit. He would definitely fall in love with her. At the door of Class 9, Lin Yi called out to Tang Yun. Tang Yun frowned when she saw Xiaoxiao beside Lin Yi. She was a little surprised. Lin Yi, she's going to the cafeteria too, Lin Yi said. Tang Yun looked at Xiaoxiao. That was a greeting. She knew that she couldn't be too friendly. That didn't fit her personality. And so, the three of them walked to the cafeteria. Lin Yi held Tang Yun's hand, and Xiaoxiao was on the other side of Lin Yi. She wanted to hold Lin Yi's hand, but she was afraid that Lin Yi would just fling her hand away. That'd be so embarrassing. Xiaoxiao felt like she was a third wheel. Why were Lin Yi and Tang Yun so close? It seemed like it wouldn't be easy to separate Tang Yun and Lin Yi. Xiaoxiao knew that after Tang Yun exposed her plan last time, Tang Yun wouldn't have much of a reaction no matter what she did. Hoping for Lin Yi to fall in love with her and then dump Tang Yun was an even more impossible mission. At least, Xiaoxiao didn't think that she'd be able to accomplish it in her lifetime. Was it time for him to change his strategy? Looking at Lin Yi and Tang Yun, who were stuck together like glue, Xiaoxiao's little brain started spinning again. Maybe she wouldn't let Lin Yi dump Tang Yun, but let Lin Yi fall in love with her and Tang Yun at the same time. If she died, Lin Yi would be sad, right? But he still had Tang Yun. What if he didn't feel anything after she died? Wouldn't she die for nothing? Whatever, she was going to die sooner or later anyway. She couldn't take revenge on Lin Yi, so she'd just pretend that she was testing the feeling of love on Lin Yi. She didn't have to worry about hurting Lin Yi anyway. It's decided. Xiaoxiao comforted herself. At that thought, Xiaoxiao felt relieved. She didn't feel that much hostility towards Tang Yun anymore. The three came to the cafeteria, and Lin Yi went to buy food. He knew what Tang Yun usually ate, but he didn't know what Xiaoxiao liked to eat. Xiaoxiao, what do you want to eat? I'll eat whatever you guys eat. Are you going to treat me? Xiaoxiao was happy that Lin Yi was going to treat her. Xiaoxiao didn't know why she was so happy. Sometimes, the person you didn't understand the most was yourself. Lin Yi nodded. I didn't have the beef noodles for lunch. I'll treat you again. Then I'll eat whatever you guys eat. Xiaoxiao wasn't a picky eater, either. Okay. Lin Yi nodded and went to buy food. Before he left, he looked at Tang Yun, who gave him a reassuring look. Xiaoxiao, what do you want? After Lin Yi left, Tang Yun looked at Xiaoxiao coldly. I like Lin Yi. What can't I? Do you mind? Xiaoxiao didn't expect Tang Yun to suddenly make things difficult for her, but she wasn't a weak person. She replied with confidence. Mind what? Tang Yun curled her lips. Someone's dumb enough to want to be Lin Yi's mistress. Why would I mind? I'm happy, but I'm afraid that Lin Yi won't like you. Chapter 990. A win-win situation? Didn't she say the same thing to Tang Yun before? She said that if Tang Yun performed well, she'd let her be a mistress, and now Tang Yun was throwing those words back at her. At that thought, Xiaoxiao wasn't annoyed at all. She was actually happy. Tang Yun, since you said that, then I'm sorry. I'm not like you, I don't get angry, I'll just go with the flow. I like being a mistress. It's so nice being a second wife. It's so tiring being the main wife. You're always jealous. Xiaoxiao giggled. Tang Yun, what if Lin Yi really likes me? Are you sure you'll take responsibility for what you said? Tang Yun was at a loss for words. She seemed to be hesitating. What, you don't dare to say anything now? Xiaoxiao teased. Of course I'll keep my words. If Lin Yi really likes you, then I won't have anything to say. Tang Yun said decisively as if provoked by Xiaoxiao. If he accepts you, then I'll accept you. All right, it's a deal then. Xiaoxiao was pleased. Tang Yun didn't have as many ideas as she did, falling for it just like that. It's a deal then. Tang Yun humphed. Then from now on, don't give me any face, don't let me get close to Lin Yi. Xiaoxiao said. As long as he doesn't say anything, I'll be with you. Tang Yun nodded, blushing. All right, for fairness' sake, the three of us will eat together, go to school together, and leave together. Xiaoxiao continued to test Tang Yun's bottom line. She wanted to take advantage of Tang Yun's impulsiveness to get more benefits. Fair is fair. I'll let you know if I'm going on a date with him. All right? Tang Yun said angrily. It'll be useless even if I give you the chance. It's not that easy to be a mistress. Then just wait and see. Xiaoxiao almost jumped up and cheered 3 times. Tang Yun was still too immature, getting tricked by her just like that. Xiaoxiao didn't believe that Lin Yi wouldn't fall for her if she wasn't a threat to Tang Yun. Let's wait and see. Tang Yun sneered. Who's afraid of who? Lin Yi is back. I hope you will keep your promise. Tang Yun sis? Xiaoxiao called Tang Yun that because she wanted to solidify her identity as Tang Yun's mistress so that Tang Yun couldn't go back on her word. Sure. Little sister Xiaoxiao. Tang Yun purposely emphasized the words, little sister Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao was overjoyed. She was really lucky today. As long as Tang Yun didn't object, what did she have to worry about? Tang Yun, on the other hand, looked at Xiaoxiao's happy face, and her lips curled into a smile. Just who was the one who had the upper hand in this fight? Tang Yun wasn't an idiot at all. She'd cleverly used the conflict between her and Xiaoxiao to set up a trap for Xiaoxiao. She'd probably still think she was an idiot, right? But this was a win-win situation, wasn't it? When Lin Yi came back, Tang Yun gave Lin Yi a look of success, which surprised Lin Yi. Tang Yun and Xiaoxiao had some sort of secret agreement already? This made Lin Yi look at Tang Yun in a different light. But he pretended like he didn't know anything and put 3 bowls of wonton noodles on the table, 1 for each person. Xiaoxiao's bowl, however, didn't have any seaweed or shrimp in it. Why do I have less food than you guys? You're biased? Xiaoxiao realized that there was nothing in her soup. She thought that Lin Yi wouldn't be biased to this extent, would he? Seaweed and shrimp are seafood. I didn't put any in for you. Lin Yi said, you fainted after eating seafood in Yanjing. Are you allergic to seafood? Xiaoxiao looked at Lin Yi and Tang Yun's bowls and realized that hers was missing seaweed and shrimp. How did Lin Yi remember that? She almost forgot about it. Xiaoxiao felt a surge of warmth in her heart. It seemed that Lin Yi still cared about her, at least more than normal classmates. Yeah, but it's fine if it's just a little. Xiaoxiao said happily. Thank you for saving me when I fainted in the shower at the hotel last time. Xiaoxiao said that intentionally for Tang Yun to hear. She wanted to show how close she was with Lin Yi. But Tang Yun's face was very calm, as if it was something insignificant. She just said, oh, faintly and didn't say anything else. In fact, Tang Yun already knew how Lin Yi felt about Lin Yi from the way he rejected Tianlong today. Lin Yi might have a good impression of Xiaoxiao, but Lin Yi wasn't at the level where he liked Xiaoxiao. Tianlong had asked Lin Yi to pursue Xiaoxiao today, and even Lin Yi was hesitant. How could he have anything to do with Xiaoxiao? So when Xiaoxiao said that they were going to shower, Tang Yun didn't think much of it. Xiaoxiao said it in a flirtatious way, but who knew what the real situation was? Plus, Tang Yun had made up her mind to make Lin Yi Xiaoxiao's fake boyfriend. Even if Xiaoxiao and Lin Yi did have something, Tang Yun would just close one eye. She would remind herself not to fight with someone who was about to die. It was meaningless. So what if she won? So what if she lost? Xiaoxiao's terminal illness had determined the outcome of this. She couldn't take Lin Yi away from her. Seeing that Tang Yun didn't care, Xiaoxiao felt like she was acting alone. She looked at Tang Yun and continued, Tang Yun sis, Lin Yi seems to be really nice to me. He even knows that I'm allergic to seafood. I'll remember that, too, Xiaoxiao lil sis. I won't order seafood when I go out to eat with you next time. Tang Yun's voice was calm, but the expression on her face was that of gritting her teeth. She couldn't take it anymore. Accepting Xiaoxiao and becoming friends with her was a process. No matter how generous Tang Yun was, she couldn't build a friendship with Xiaoxiao in one day. So Tang Yun had to act like she had no choice, As long as there was a gradual process, Xiaoxiao wouldn't be suspicious anymore. Seeing Tang Yun gritting her teeth made Xiaoxiao very happy. Humph. Tang Yun sis, you're regretting it, right? You got yourself a concubine just because you wanted to fight? Wahahaha, I'm such a genius. Xiaoxiao, you're amazing. So smart. Xiaoxiao clenched her fists, her heart filled with hope and fighting spirit. Chapter 991. Did you regret it? Lin Yi looked at Tang Yun, then at Xiaoxiao, a suspicious look on his face. What's wrong with you guys? Are you guys talking in code? Nope, haha, Tang Yun sis and I became good friends. Xiaoxiao said proudly. Right, Tang Yun sis? Yes. Tang Yun gritted her teeth. Lin Yi frowned, but didn't say anything. He lowered his head and started eating. Meng Yao and Yushu were sitting at a table not far from Lin Yi. Meng Yao looked away and said faintly, Let's eat Shu. Yao Yao, that's Xiaoxiao, why is she sitting with Shield Bro? Yushu didn't understand. Isn't she a love rival with Tang Yun? Who knows? Meng Yao shook her head, confused as well. Ever since Lin Yi sacrificed himself to save her, her attitude had changed a lot. She knew that Tang Yun was irreplaceable in Lin Yi's heart, and she didn't want to go against Tang Yun anymore. That would only put her in a more passive position. Oh, Yao Yao sis. Do you think that Tang Yun is afraid? Did she find a mistress for Shield Bro to fight against us? Yushu guessed. Then why don't you go ask? Meng Yao frowned. Forget it. Yushu shook her head. Lin Yi, Tang Yun, and Xiaoxiao lowered their heads and ate their dumplings. Lin Yi and Tang Yun wanted to talk more with Xiaoxiao, but their relationship wasn't that good. They didn't have any common topics to talk about, so after a quick meal, they went back to class. When they walked out of the cafeteria, Xiaoxiao saw Lin Yi trying to hold Tang Yun's hand. She quickly grabbed Tang Yun's hand. Lin Yi, you go first. I want to talk to Tang Yun sis. Lin Yi frowned. What do you want to say? Say it in front of me. Behind your back, of course I can't let you hear it. Xiaoxiao said. Don't believe her, Yun Yun. Lin Yi said purposefully. If he didn't say anything and just let Xiaoxiao be with Tang Yun, that wasn't his style, and Xiaoxiao might get suspicious. Oh. Tang Yi nodded. And so, Lin Yi walked in front, with Xiaoxiao holding Tang Yun's hand at the back. Tang Yun sis, do you regret it? Xiaoxiao asked. Regret what? I didn't lose anything, Tang Yun said. Humph. Xiaoxiao thought to herself, keep being stubborn, but when Lin Yi and I become a reality, you'll have no choice but to accept it. What are you snorting at? You're just a concubine, you still have to listen to me in the future, right? Tang Yun said. Fine, I'll listen to you. Xiaoxiao felt that Tang Yun was just trying to save face. The two had their own plans as they chatted and laughed as they returned to class. Lin Yi and Xiaoxiao entered the classroom as well. Xiaoxiao was very happy. She didn't expect Tang Yun to be this gullible, getting tricked with just a few words. What did you say to Tang Yun? Lin Yi asked Xiaoxiao after returning to his seat. In fact, Lin Yi was a bit curious as to what Tang Yun said to Xiaoxiao. Lin Yi knew that Tang Yun must have said something to make her happy, but Lin Yi and Tang Yun hadn't met up yet, so he didn't know the specifics. So when they got back to class, Lin Yi just asked casually. Tang Yun said that she's going to find you a concubine. Xiaoxiao didn't hide it. She felt that she had to tell Lin Yi what Tang Yun wanted. Otherwise, even if Tang Yun agreed, Lin Yi wouldn't agree. It was pointless. Wah! Lin Yi blinked. A concubine? Are you serious? Of course. Xiaoxiao nodded. It wouldn't be you, would it? Lin Yi asked. How'd you guess? Xiaoxiao blinked. Lin Yi didn't pay attention to her, turning around and taking out his book. The head of House U, Danson, was an Earth class early phase, and had entered the mysterious House U to train, focusing on the path of the heavens and stepping into Sky class. However, Danson was someone from the common world's House U, after all. Every once in a while, he would call House U, but even if House U wanted to look for him, they wouldn't be able to find him. After all, When he was concentrating on his training, it could be 10 days or even a few months. He couldn't be disturbed. Today, Danson had just come out of seclusion, and he felt that he was about to break through from Earth Class Early Phase to Earth Class Early Phase Peak. And so, he quickly called Xianxia to tell him the good news, to cheer him and bide up. Xianxia didn't know what to do these past 2 days. House Yu had dominated the common world for so many years, and everyone had to listen to them. Almost all the noble houses knew that Danson was an Earth class, and he had entered the hidden House Yu. All of a sudden, House Yu became the leader of the noble houses. All these years, House Yu had been doing the things of the noble houses, organizing noble house meetings and auctions. They were doing very well, unparalleled for a while. But all of this was broken by someone who came out of nowhere. Lin Yi, just where did you come from? Xianxia gritted his teeth as he looked at the information on Lin Yi. It was a record of everything Lin Yi had done since he came to Songshan. Every single thing he did was filled with absolute arrogance. Zhao Qibing of the Hidden House had his legs broken by Lin Yi twice, and his skyscraper destroyed twice. And the Hidden House Zhao had been holding back all this time. There must be something wrong with this. Xianxia regretted not thinking about all this before, thinking that Lin Yi didn't have the strength, so he followed the Xiao family and Zhao Qibing to cause trouble for Lin Yi. And so, his impulsive actions led to a disaster. Xianxia blamed himself, and hated Lin Yi to the core. Now, Yu Bide was dead, and Yu Kuan was a cripple. How could he face his big brother Danson? Back then, when his big brother handed him the position of the head of the house, he entered the Hidden House Yu alone, and his words were still fresh in his mind. He promised that House Yu would become more and more glorious, and hold the position of the #1 noble house. But, how long had it been? House Yu was in such a huge mess? What should he do now? House Yu left in such an aggressive manner, and came back with 1 dead and 1 injured. Wouldn't they become the laughing stock of the other noble houses? Chapter 992. Chapter 990. House Yu's conversation, Lin Yi. If I don't kill you, House Yu won't have the face to be the head of the noble houses. We might as well be a dog's fart. Xianxia took a deep breath and said fiercely. But he knew that he had to hold it in. House Yu couldn't handle the storm anymore, and he had to hold it in before figuring out Lin Yi's background. In the study room, an urgent phone rang. This was House Yu's secret number. Usually, only people who had a close relationship with the family would know this number. Other than House Yu's inner circle, only the heads of the noble houses had access to this number. Hello, I'm Xianxia. Xianxia's thoughts were interrupted by the ringtone as he picked up the phone. Xianxia, I'm your big brother. Danson was very happy. Naturally, he had to share the news of his breakthrough with his second and third brothers first. Is Bide with you? Big brother. Xianxia heard Danson's voice, all the anger and grievance in his heart surging out. He couldn't help but feel his heart ache when his brother asked about you Bide. Bide. He's not here. Oh, hurry and call him. I have something good to tell you two brothers. This is an exciting moment for House Yu. Danson didn't notice that Xianxia's emotions weren't right. After all, he couldn't see Xianxia's expression through the phone. I can't call him. Xianxia sighed, his voice sounding like he was about to cry. Big brother Bide. Bide's dead. Dead? What do you mean? Danson paused, not understanding what Xianxia was saying. What dead? Who's dead? You Bide, my third brother, he's dead. Xianxia said sadly. Big brother Bide's dead. What a horrible death. What? What did you say? You Bide's dead? How did he die? Danson's mind went blank. He never would have thought that you Bide would die. Wasn't this too strange? How long had it been since he left House Yu? Moreover, Yu Bide was a cultivator and he rarely got sick. How could he die? Someone beat him up, and then a dog beat him to death. Xianxia said sternly. Third brother died a horrible death. Big brother, you have to help Bide. What did you say? Killed by a dog? Mercury, do you have a fever? It's not April Fool's today, is it? You Danson froze. Your third brother is an early phase mystic class master. Even if he's injured, how could he be killed by a dog? Plus, with House Yu's influence in the common world, who would dare to touch us? Big brother, why would I speak carelessly? Not only is third brother dead, but Yu Kuan is also crippled. Shuixing cried. Brother, there's a master called Lin Yi in the common world. He's very mysterious, and he doesn't play by the rules at all. Lin Yi? Never heard of it. What's going on? Tell me the details. Danson finally believed Shuixing's words. Even Yu Kuan was crippled. It seemed that this was no small matter. Danson's happiness from breaking through was all gone, replaced by helplessness. Big brother. It's like this. Shuixing didn't dare hide anything, starting from when House Yu brought out the map and told him everything in detail. After all, it was him and Shuixing's decision to bring out the map to attract people who knew about this. It wasn't Shuixing's fault. On the other side of the phone, Danson fell into silence after hearing Shuixing's words. He never would have thought that a normal merchant would have such a master by his side. But he'd never heard of this person before. According to Shuixing, this person was terrifyingly strong. Such a heavy injury, yet he recovered so quickly, and even turned a dying dog into a practitioner dog. Danson couldn't help but sigh. It's not that I'm looking down on myself, but even the hidden House Yu doesn't have this kind of strength. Even if someone from House Yu was injured, they wouldn't be able to become a master in such a short amount of time, let alone turning a dog into a practitioner dog. According to what you said, if that dog killed third brother, he's at least a golden class. Yeah, big brother. This is also why I didn't dare say anything. As a mystic late phase, it's easy for me to kill that Lin Yi kid, but I didn't dare to do it. Who knows what kind of power Lin Yi has behind him? I'm afraid that I'll bring disaster to House Yu if I'm not careful. Shuixing said. Thank goodness you didn't act rashly, or the consequences would have been unimaginable. Danson sighed. Big brother, what should I do now? Are we just going to let this go? Can you ask the hidden House Yu to help us? Shuixing couldn't help but feel hopeless after hearing what his big brother had said. You know that I've just come to House Yu, and my position here is very low. I can't even talk to the core members of the hidden House Yu. There are many early phase Earth class masters here, and I'm just one of them. Danson sighed. The only thing you can do now is to find out more about Lin Yi's background. Even if you ask House Yu to help, you have to know about Lin Yi's background first. Otherwise, the hidden House Yu wouldn't make a move so rashly. Then that's the only way. Shuixing was a little disappointed. He'd wanted his big brother to get revenge from the hidden House Yu, but it seemed like his big brother wasn't doing very well either. There was nothing he could do. Shuixing, don't be impulsive. Remember, revenge is a dish best served cold. Danson said, I'm not here for nothing. Earth-class masters can't come out easily, but if there's an important reason, you can apply to the Hidden House Council. As long as you find out about Lin Yi's background, and we can afford to mess with him, I'll apply to come out. Alright. I'll send Lin Feng to Songshan right now to find out about Lin Yi's background. We can't just let this go. Shuixing was filled with fighting spirit after hearing his big brother's words. As long as his big brother came out, Lin Yi would die for sure. But the problem was, what kind of power did Lin Yi have behind him? Man, forget it. Life, death, sickness and death, my condolences. Danson was more open-minded than Shuixing. Those who practice martial arts, if they don't pursue the path of the heavens, they'll leave it one day. I've gotten a lot more open-minded here. Chapter 993. Are you jealous? It's nothing. I just wanted to tell you that I'm about to break through to Earth-class early phase peak, but it doesn't seem like it's good news anymore. Danson sighed. Has things been going too smoothly for our House Yu these past few years? Then I must congratulate you, big brother. Shuixing smiled bitterly, not feeling happy at all. This was supposed to be a good thing, but now, he was drowning in sorrow. All right, I'm hanging up, training time's almost up. Danson said. All right, big brother, call us often when you have time. Shuixing said. After hanging up, Shuixing called Yu Feng to his study. Now, Yu Feng was the only one in House Yu who could discuss matters. Yu Kuan was lying on his sickbed, depressed. There was no way he could recover his strength, and other than sighing every day, he would cry in front of his father's portrait. Shuixing blamed himself. Father, you were looking for me? Yu Feng pushed the door open and asked carefully. And your uncle cold? Shuixing said as he looked at his son. Your uncle is about to break through to Earth-class early phase peak. It's good news, but for the current House Yu, it's not that great of a news. Yeah, we'd be really happy if it were any other time. Yu Feng sighed. Father, Then what does uncle say about third uncle? Your uncle hasn't gotten a firm foothold in the hidden house yet, and he can't use their power. He can't just come out like that either. Xianxia said, but your uncle's suggestion is to find out more about Lin Yi first, and see what kind of background Lin Yi has. Then father, you're saying that we should stick to our original plan and have me go to Songshan? Yu Feng asked quickly. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Xianxia nodded. This time, you're not going to Songshan under House Yu's name. Lin Yi hasn't seen you, and he won't suspect you. Change your name, and I'll transfer you to Lin Yi's school. You just need to investigate Lin Yi's background. I understand. Then Lin Yi and I can't have a direct confrontation, right? Yu Feng nodded and asked. That's not it. According to my investigation, Lin Yi treats different people differently. Xianxia opened the file in his hand and pushed it to Yu Feng. Take a look. Lin Yi's never killed any of his classmates. Yu Feng took the information from his father and carefully looked through it. Indeed, according to the information, Lin Yi had never been ruthless towards his classmates. Even if they provoked him, it was just a simple lesson. If that's the case, then I don't have to worry too much, Yu Feng said after looking at the information. Plus, if we were to really compare strength, I'm a mystic early phase peak, and I can beat him for sure. Xiao Feng. Remember, you can't casually reveal your strength. Xianxia waved his hand and said solemnly, when you transfer, I'm preparing to give you the identity of a rich second-generation young master. You can compete with Lin Yi, but that's only within the school. It's a competition between classmates. Even if you want to fight, you have to do it in the dark. Don't fight him in the open, understand? I understand. Yu Feng nodded. As long as I don't fight him, it'll be fine. I won't let him know that I'm a practitioner, and I won't reveal that I'm from House Yu. I'll gather intel on Lin Yi from the side. That's right. Xianxia nodded. All right, go prepare yourself. I'll handle the enrollment procedures for you right now. Lin Yi turned his head because the homeroom teacher, Miss Lu, had already entered the classroom. The classroom quietened down. After all, 12th graders had high self-awareness, and the teacher's arrival meant that class was about to start. Those who stayed here for the night study were all students who loved to study. However, this time, Teacher Lu didn't walk in alone. Beside her, there was a very handsome boy, who had reached the point of being extremely handsome. There were two other boys behind him, but they weren't as eye-catching. One was short and chubby, like a pickled cabbage jar, and the other was tall and skinny, like a bamboo pole. He looked like the fat monk from Jin Yang's Wuxia dramas. The handsome boy attracted a wave of girls as he entered the classroom. After all, 12th graders were in love, and most girls would instinctively admire handsome boys. This person's handsomeness was completely different from Lin Yi's. Lin Yi was more of the manly type, while this boy could only be described as exquisite. Everyone quiet down. I'll introduce our new classmates. Miss Lu brought the exquisite boy to the front of the class podium and said to everyone, these three are our new transfer students, Xie Yufeng, Li Penghu, and Wang Tsongming. He was a transfer student from Southern Blue. Next, student Xie will introduce himself to everyone. Everyone, please give him a round of applause. Boys like Xie Yufeng were very popular with the girls, and the first impression they had of him was definitely more pleasing to the eye than Lin Yi. And so, Xie Yufeng's appearance drew a huge round of applause. Xie Yufeng elegantly tidied his hair and made a shushing gesture before smiling and looking at the students below the podium. The Xie Yufeng in front of her had sexy lips, a tall nose, and under his eyebrows was a pair of long and narrow eyes covered with thick eyelashes. His eyes were like a bottomless pool of black water, and his clear eyes shone with a faint light like a star stone. This kind of exquisite appearance was definitely a killer for young girls. A killer move. Hello, everyone. My name is Xie Yufeng, and I'm from Nanqing, a coastal city in the south. Because of my family's business, I transferred to Songshan's first school. I hope we can become good friends. Thank you. Xie Yufeng said elegantly to the students. I have many hobbies. I'm good at basketball, football, singing. This guy's so handsome. Xiao couldn't help but exclaim after seeing Xie Yufeng. Really? That's great. You can sit with him later. Lin Yi smiled. Chapter 994. New transfer student. Why would I be jealous of him? I'm more than happy that you like him and don't bother me anymore. Lin Yi said nonchalantly. Who said I like him? Why would I like him? Xiao shook her head. He's handsome, but people like him are just a side character. In novels and dramas, they're all tragic characters. Oh. Lin Yi paused and looked at Xiao curiously. You've seen Slam Dunk, right? Isn't Rukawa Kid very handsome? But he's just a side character. Xiao said. Look, you're not as handsome as him, but you're like Sakuragi Hanamichi. Ha! Lin Yi didn't expect Xiao's theory to be this interesting. He couldn't help but laugh. That's why I still like you. Xiao said. Lin Yi didn't say anything, only looking at Yu Feng with interest. Xie Yu Feng? What was the reason for him to transfer here at this time? Lin Yi wouldn't believe that this Xie Yu Feng didn't have any ulterior motives. Don't forget that Lin Yi had a special cheat. He could sense the strength of a spiritual practitioner. Even if the spiritual practitioner didn't use their arts to show their strength, Lin Yi would still be able to sense their strength. What surprised Lin Yi the most was that this Xie Yu Feng had the strength of a mystic early-phase peak spiritual practitioner. A person like this came here to study? Then wasn't this master a little too worthless? Any random person could be a master? But what shocked Lin Yi was Yu Feng's youth. He looked like he was only 19, and he already had the strength of a mystic early-phase peak. His strength was about the same as Lin Yi's. One had to know that Lin Yi had just leveled up a few times recently, reaching the middle phase of Mystic Division. Xie Yu Feng. Lin Yi memorized this name. It didn't matter why he was here, as long as he didn't mess with him, it'd be fine. If he messed with him, then don't blame him for being impolite. This Xie Yu Feng was still introducing himself non-stop on the stage, but Xiao didn't seem to care about him at all. After one compliment, she didn't even look at him anymore. She turned back to Lin Yi. I think you're more handsome than him. Lin Yi, I will definitely make you my boyfriend. Then what about Tang Yun? Lin Yi asked back. She's the main wife. I'm the second wife. Xiao said. Isn't that fine? Nothing will be affected. Lin Yi was speechless. Why did this girl look a little like Yushu? They were both mischievous and mischievous. Lin Yi thought about it carefully. Apart from their different styles, the two of them had something in common. Meng Yao and Yushu, on the other hand, were talking about Xie Yu Feng. Meng Yao raised her head when Miss Lu was introducing the new students. She looked at the three students on the podium without any emotion in her eyes, as if she was just trying to recognize them. Meng Yao's eyes were devoid of emotion. She looked at Yu Feng, Peng Hu, and Song Ming in the same way, not lingering on anyone's face for too long. After looking at them, Meng Yao turned her attention back to her English book. Yao sis, look, that Xie Yu Feng is quite handsome. Yushu said. Oh, so you don't like your shield bro anymore? Meng Yao smiled. How is that possible? Yushu shook her head. Can being handsome make a living? Shield bro can roast shark meat for me, so I still like shield bro. Haha. Meng Yao chuckled. I thought you'd fallen in love with someone else. Humph, I'm just a small wife. If Yao doesn't fall in love with someone else, how could I fall in love with someone else? Yushu said. Oh. Meng Yao replied meaninglessly. Lin Yi didn't know what she was trying to say. On the stage, Yu Feng had finished his self-introduction, and the crowd applauded him again. He moved slightly to the side, letting Peng Hu and Song Ming come up. I'm Peng Hu, Master Xie's bodyguard. Peng Hu didn't hide his identity at all, shaking his fat body as he spoke. I'm Song Ming, Master Xie's strategist. Song Ming did a simple self-introduction, not hiding his identity at all. These two came with Yu Feng, and their goal was simple. They wanted to be Yu Feng's followers. They could run errands for him if he needed help. What dash, the crowd gasped. In this day and age, it wasn't rare for a rich young master to come to a private school like Songshan's first school, but it was rare to see two lackeys with him. Moreover, these two followers didn't hide their identity, which made the female students in the class a little envious. This was what a rich young master should be like, having a bodyguard and strategist with him when he went out. So cool. Only those popular Hong Kong dramas would have scenes like this. Yao, he has followers too, but they're a far cry from Shield Bro. They're just two idiots. Yushu said, giving Peng Hu and Song Ming a direct evaluation. Maybe someone likes to bring two idiots out. Meng Yao wasn't interested in whether or not Yu Feng had lackeys. It had nothing to do with her. The homeroom teacher, Mr. Liu, frowned after hearing Peng Hu and Song Ming's introduction. He didn't know what this Yu Feng's background was, but he heard that he was introduced by someone from the school, and his family was powerful, but he didn't know what he did. However, Teacher Liu felt that it was a bit too much to bring along 2 attendants, a bodyguard and a military counselor when they went to school. After all, the chairman's daughter Meng Yao was also in the same class, and she didn't have any special treatment, bringing a bodyguard and strategist. In fact, the miss also had a bodyguard and strategist, but the bodyguard was Lin Yi, and the strategist was Yu Shu. Under the podium, Pin Liang and Xiaofu were also analyzing Yu Feng's background. Liang bro, where did this Xie Yu Feng come from? Why did he bring 2 lackeys with him? Didn't he steal your limelight, Liang bro? Xiaofu said unhappily. Chapter 995. The singing competition. Who cares where he's from? It has nothing to do with us. Pin Liang said calmly. If he wants to be the boss, then let him be. As long as he doesn't mess with us, let him be. Oh. Liang bro, why are you so calm now? Xiaofu was surprised by Pin Liang's words. Fighting for the title of young thug or boss is something only a kid would do. Pin Liang said with a wave of his hand. We're mature now, we don't do that anymore. The Real Masters keep a low profile. Oh, I understand. Gao Xiaofu quickly nodded. We'll watch from the sidelines. If this Yu Feng can go up against Lin Yi, then that'll be great. If not, then it has nothing to do with us. Pin Liang said faintly. All right, the 3 of you can sit at the right back of the classroom for now. Teacher Liu pointed at the back of the classroom. There's an empty table there. Since you 3 know each other, you can sit together. If there's a suitable seat, I'll arrange it again. Teacher Liu wanted Yu Feng to sit at the front, but it seemed like they weren't here to study, so Teacher Liu treated them coldly. But Yu Feng and the other 2 weren't picky. It didn't matter where they sat. Teacher Liu told them to sit at the back of the classroom, and Yu Feng nodded politely. Yes, teacher. Seeing that Yu Feng didn't object and was even being polite, Teacher Liu's impression of Yu Feng changed a little. Maybe Yu Feng's family arranged for him to be a follower, and it had nothing to do with him. Lin Yi looked at Yu Feng and shook his head when he realized that he wasn't looking at him. Was he being too cautious? But just when Lin Yi looked away, Yu Feng's eyes shot towards Lin Yi. It was only for an instant, but he looked away and continued walking to his seat. How strong was Lin Yi's 6th sense? Lin Yi noticed Yu Feng's gaze. Yu Feng was looking at him. Why is he looking at me? Was it because she was looking at him? One had to know that the senses of mystics were very strong. As long as Lin Yi didn't try to hide it, then Yu Feng would be able to tell that Lin Yi was looking at him. It was normal for him to look back. All right, after introducing the new students, I have something to announce. Teacher Liu waited until Yu Feng, Peng Hu, and Song Ming sat down before continuing, in order to relieve everyone's stress, to add some fun to the boring 12th grade life, and to let everyone relax. The school has decided to hold a singing competition for the 12th grade. First, they would compete in the class, and the winners would advance to the year finals. Of course, this activity was not compulsory. Students who were interested in singing could sign up. They could sing solo or in a group. Those who did not know how to sing could also be in the audience. Of course, it doesn't matter if you're tone deaf. You can still rap and sing. Aren't rappers popular now? Teacher Liu's words caused the students in the class to burst into laughter. The 12th grade life was indeed boring, so the occasional small activity would make everyone excited. The singing competition was often held around the time of the first and second years of high school's art festival. At that time, it was not a big deal, but once they entered the 3rd year of high school, the stressful study life made many students feel suffocated. The only group activities they had were also very precious. So, Teacher Liu's words got the support of most of the students. Everyone cheered. When you're tired from studying at night, you can practice singing. Although it's just entertainment, if you can get a place in your grade, it's still a very glorious thing. Teacher Liu said, I hope everyone can sign up. The top 10 of your grade will get a scholarship of 1,000 to 10,000 yuan. Wah! Everyone was even more excited when they heard that they could get a prize. There were indeed some rich students in Songshan's first school, but most of them got in based on their results. These students didn't come from good families, so 10,000 yuan was a lot. If he could get a 10,000 yuan stipend just by singing a song, it would still be worth it. As a result, some of the students who were just here to watch the show were eager to sign up. Yao Yao, are we participating in the singing competition? Yushu asked. Of course. Meng Yao nodded. Let's go practice later. Meng Yao's father was a board member of the school board, and as the miss of the school, it was only natural that she would support and participate in all the activities organized by the school. So every time there was an art festival, sports event, and so on, Meng Yao would always sign up. Meng Yao didn't want people to criticize her. Her identity was very sensitive, so she had to set an example. It's not good to do it at home. Our house isn't as good as KTV. Let's go practice at KTV? Yushu was more of a playful person. KTV, huh? Meng Yao hesitated, but Yushu was right. The karaoke system in the house had been renovated, and they rarely touched it. The songs on it hadn't been updated yet, and they didn't even know if they could still use it. Going to a KTV to practice was the easiest way. But Meng Yao heard that KTV was a place where people from the underworld often went. It wasn't safe for her and Shu to go together. Then let's bring Lin Yi with us. Send him a text and ask him if he's free tonight. Oh, okay. Yushu was going to bring Lin Yi with her even if Meng Yao didn't mention it. Right, let's bring Tang Yun as well. Meng Yao felt that it wouldn't be good if they brought Lin Yi without Tang Yun, so she told Shu. Tang Yun. Okay. Yushu nodded unwillingly. She subconsciously saw Tang Yun as her rival in love, but Yao Yao seemed to have accepted Tang Yun all of a sudden. Yushu wasn't used to it. At that moment, Lin Yi was talking to Xiao about the singing competition. Lin Yi, are you participating in the singing competition? Xiao asked. I don't know how to sing. Lin Yi said faintly. You don't know how to sing? I'll teach you. I know how to sing, we can do a group? Xiao suggested. Chapter 996. Chapter 994. Verified it wasn't that Lin Yi wasn't interested, but he really didn't know how to sing. When it came to singing, Lin Yi had only heard his old man hum a couple of songs from the 70s and 80s. As for the current songs, Lin Yi had never heard of them before. He didn't even know who the superstar Su Shihan was. And so, Lin Yi decided not to sign up for the singing competition at all. Maybe me and Tang Yun sis, the three of us can form a singing group? Xiao continued to tempt Lin Yi. Look, you have two beauties, big and small, isn't that great? Oh, you can ask Tang Yun then. Lin Yi felt that he'd rejected enough, and it was time for him to compromise a little. Pretending to be someone else's boyfriend wasn't easy at all. He couldn't let Xiao know that he was a fake, and he had to accept her step by step. To be honest, this was harder than leveling up for Lin Yi. Luckily, it wasn't as if Lin Yi didn't like Xiao at all. At least in Yanjing, Lin Yi had a new understanding of this weird girl. Lin Yi didn't respond to Xiao's confession, mainly because he didn't know her true intentions. Lin Yi was afraid that she'd hurt Tang Yun, so he ignored her. But now that Tang Yun knew the truth, and Lin Yi was under orders to hit on girls, he turned back to Xiao. Lin Yi felt that she was quite cute. At least she was a straightforward person, and dared to take responsibility for what she did. She might be a little messy sometimes, but thinking about her pitiful life, Lin Yi could understand. I'll text her right now. Xiao happily took out her phone to text Tang Yun after hearing Lin Yi agree. But before she could send the text, Lin Yi's phone came in first. Lin Yi opened his phone and saw that it was a message from Yushu. Shield bro, Yao sis and I are going to KTV to practice singing tonight. Will you protect us? You can bring your family members along. Family members? Lin Yi couldn't help but smile at Yushu's message. It was rare that the Miss and Shu's attitude towards Tang Yun had changed. At least they weren't as hostile as before. This was a good thing. Little Shu asked politely, but Lin Yi had no reason to refuse, so he replied, okay. Who's texting you? Xiao thought it was Tang Yun who was texting Lin Yi, so she stopped typing. Yushu. Lin Yi said. She asked me to go to the KTV with them tonight to practice. Then I'll go too. Xiao said quickly. Lin Yi thought about it. Since the miss allowed Lin Yi to bring people along, then it wouldn't matter if Xiao went alone. He nodded. All right, can you text Tang Yun? Okay, I'll text her right now. Xiao said happily after seeing that Lin Yi agreed. The singing competition was organized by the entire 12th grade, so Miss Lu was notifying everyone in Lin Yi's class, and so was Tang Yun's class. Tang Yun got Xiao's text, saying that she was going to the KTV with Lin Yi tonight. She didn't even think about it before agreeing. After all, Tang Yun wanted to create more chances for Xiao to interact with Lin Yi. Who knew what her future would be like? Lin Yi, Tang Yun's sis agreed. She's coming with us, Xiao said excitedly. She didn't think that Tang Yun would accept her this easily. It seemed that as long as she worked hard, she wouldn't have to worry about Lin Yi not liking her anymore. What did you say to Tang Yun? You weren't that close with her before? Lin Yi asked. Friendship between girls, you wouldn't understand. Xiao brushed it off. Lin Yi didn't ask anymore after hearing Xiao's words. Of course he knew that this was Tang Yun's way of showing her friendliness. But he could only pretend that he didn't know. If he wasn't curious at all, then there would be a problem. After school, Lin Yi was about to call the miss to ask where they were going when he saw that the miss and Yushu had already packed their bags and turned to Lin Yi. Lin Yi had been driving them to school for the past few days, so there was no need to hide their relationship anymore. Lin Yi put down the phone and walked over to them, with Xiao following closely behind him. Where are we going tonight? Lin Yi asked after walking over. I don't know. Do you know any good karaoke places? Meng Yao had never been to a place like this before. Let's just look around then, Lin Yi said. There was a karaoke place next to me when I went to play pool last time. Let's go there then. Meng Yao nodded and looked at Shu. Oh, Shield bro, did you bring your family? Yushu remembered that Meng Yao told her to let Lin Yi take care of Tang Yun. I did. My family is here. Xiao raised her hand before Lin Yi could say anything. You. Yushu's eyes went wide as she looked at Xiao, confused. I'm looking for Shield bro's family. Who the hell are you? I'm his family. You're the onion. You're the garlic. Xiao was a little unhappy as she glared at Yushu. You. What family are you? Yushu blinked, not expecting Xiao to come out here for. Meng Yao, on the other hand, was troubled as well. Why was Xiao with Lin Yi, claiming to be Lin Yi's family? But with the Miss personality, as long as Tang Yun didn't push her too hard like last time at Fatty Lai's house, she wouldn't say anything. I'm Lin Yi's small wife. Xiao looked at Yushu proudly. Ha! You're Shield bro's small wife? Impossible, I'm Shield bro's small wife. Yushu glared at Xiao. You. Aren't you the best friend of Lin Yi's employer? Why are you pretending to be a small wife? Did you get Lin Yi's approval, or did you get Lin Yi's big wife Tang Yun's sis's approval? Xiao mocked as she looked at Yushu. Yao is Shield bro's big wife. I'm his small wife. Do I need approval? Yushu didn't want to lose. Then who did you get approval from? I got approval from Tang Yun's sis's small wife. Xiao humphed. What about you? You didn't get approval, did you? Even if you did, you're still a fake small wife. I got approval from Shield bro. You're the fake small wife. Yushu humphed as well. Ask Shield bro if you don't believe me. Chapter 997. Clash of Rivals, Shield bro. Is this dumb girl your little wife? Yushu looked at Lin Yi pitifully. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He didn't think that Tang Yun and Xiao wouldn't get into a fight, but Yushu and Xiao got into a fight first. Yushu was weird, and Xiao was weird. The two were at loggerheads, neither willing to give in to the other. They weren't even at the KTV yet, and they were already fighting in the classroom. But just when Lin Yi was in a difficult spot, someone came to his rescue. It was Xie Yufeng. Yufeng walked up to the podium, with Penghu and Songming by his side. Everyone quiet down. Young Master Xie wants to say something to everyone. Li Penghu was the first to speak. The students in the class were all curious about this new transfer student. Hearing that he had something to say, the students who were packing their bags and preparing to leave school all looked up at him. Hello, everyone. I'm new to this class, and I don't have much I can help you with. I'm just in time for the school's singing competition, so I'm going to invite everyone to practice at the KTV tonight. I hope you can come. Yufeng said elegantly to the students, as if he wasn't inviting them to practice, but they were giving him face by doing so. One had to say, this Xie Yufeng really knew how to act. This made everyone instinctively have a good impression of him. With that, he looked around the class, not stopping on anyone. His main focus was on Lin Yi's movements. Seeing the three beauties around Lin Yi, he couldn't help but feel annoyed. There were three beauties in the class, and all of them seemed to have some sort of relationship with Lin Yi. This made Yu Feng very unhappy. Wherever he went, he was the center of attention, and there were many beauties throwing themselves at him. But here, because of Lin Yi, something seemed to have changed. Xie Yufeng was House Yu's Yufeng. He came here just to add a surname in front of his name. Penghu and Song Ming, of course, were just random names. Their real identity was that of House Yu's servants. Yufeng's goal in coming to Songshan this time was to find out about Lin Yi's background, but he didn't want to come here for nothing. He wanted to have some fun. House Yu's teachings were stricter, and he didn't have many chances to hit on girls. He did have beauties throwing themselves at him in school, but he didn't want his father to find out, so he didn't dare go overboard. He only did some one-night stands. Now that he was in Songshan, the mountains were high and the emperor was far away. Yufeng really wanted to have some fun, especially when he realized that there were a lot of beauties in his class. Of course, Yufeng already had two targets in mind. One was Chu Pengzhan's daughter, Chu Mengyao. If he were to play with Chu Mengyao, he would be able to avenge Yu Kuan. The other target was naturally Lin Yi's girlfriend. Yufeng didn't know who Lin Yi's girlfriend was, but it didn't matter. Whichever girl was close to Lin Yi, Yufeng would get his hands on her. He couldn't fight Lin Yi head-on, but putting on a green hat to disgust him wasn't a bad start. Many people agreed with Yufeng's words. There were guys and girls, and it wasn't a bad idea to go out and have some fun without spending money. What disappointed Yufeng was that among the people who came to him for karaoke, there weren't any Lin Yi, Mengyao, Yushu, or Xiaoxiao. Through Tsoming's investigation, Yufeng already knew who Mengyao, Yushu, and Xiaoxiao were. Mengyao would actively participate in school activities, but she wasn't interested in the activities organized by her classmates. She wasn't familiar with Yufeng, either, so she wouldn't go to karaoke with them. All right, Shu, stop arguing. Mengyao looked at Xiaoxiao meaningfully. She didn't know when she became Lin Yi's small wife again, but she kept saying that it was Tang Yun's approval. This made Mengyao feel weird. Would Tang Yun let Xiaoxiao become Lin Yi's small wife? Mengyao couldn't believe it. Xiaoxiao hadn't been going to school for a while, and Mengyao had even forgotten about her. She didn't think that Xiaoxiao would have anything to do with Tang Yun, so this was very strange. Looking at Lin Yi's non-committal expression, the miss felt uncomfortable. If it weren't for Lin Yi risking his life to save her, the miss would have flipped out on the spot. But she didn't do that. She only told Shu to stop arguing. Yao Yao, this Xiaoxiao is very suspicious. I suspect that she's up to no good. We can't bring her with us. Yushu looked at Xiaoxiao with hostility. This girl was trying to steal her small wife position. How could she let that happen? Forget it, let's go find Tang Yun first. Mengyao felt that there was no point in fighting Xiaoxiao with Yushu right now. She'd know what Xiaoxiao was trying to do once she saw Tang Yun. Oh, then I'll let you enjoy being the small wife for a while. Yushu said to Xiaoxiao. I think you're the one who's delusional. If you're the small wife, then who's the big wife? It's not Mengyao, is it? As far as I know, she's Lin Yi's employer. You guys really are delusional. Xiaoxiao didn't back down. Yushu wanted to say something, but Mengyao stopped her. Shoo! Yushu glared at Xiaoxiao and grabbed Mengyao's hand, walking out of the classroom with her. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and followed. He didn't know what to do with Xiaoxiao. He couldn't explain it to the miss and Shu in front of her, either. He could only tell them in detail when they got back to the villa. Who knew how many misunderstandings they'd have in the future? On Yufeng's side, he was happily chatting with the girls and boys, discussing which KTV to go to, but his eyes were on Lin Yi and the others leaving the classroom. Humph. I'll let you be happy for now. Yufeng smiled coldly in his heart as he retracted his gaze. He didn't stop his activities just because Lin Yi and Mengyao didn't participate. Lin Yi might not be there, but Yufeng wasn't an idiot. He needed to build up his relationship with his classmates. This was the only way he could stand firm in the class and do whatever he wanted. Lin Yi, Mengyao, Yushu, and Xiaoxiao left the classroom and came to Class 9. Chapter 998. It was a tie. Tang Yun sis. Xiao quickly ran over and held Tang Yun's hand. Meng Yao frowned slightly as she looked at Xiao, then at Tang Yun, trying to figure out what was going on. Tang Yun, she said that she's Shield Bro's small wife, and that it's been verified by you? Meng Yao didn't want to ask, but Yushu didn't care. Tang Yun tensed up. She'd forgotten about Meng Yao and Yushu's feelings. Tang Yun wasn't stupid. A woman's intuition told her that Meng Yao and Yushu felt for Lin Yi. She was Lin Yi's girlfriend, and while Meng Yao and Yushu were helpless about it, they still accepted it as a fact. But with Xiao popping out of nowhere, there was no way they'd be happy. But in front of Xiao, Tang Yun couldn't explain it to Meng Yao and Yushu. She could only nod helplessly. Yes, she's Lin Yi's small wife. Meng Yao's face changed after hearing Tang Yun's confirmation. She felt wronged. What was the meaning of this? She'd already let go of her misattitude and started befriending Tang Yun, and now she found a small wife for Lin Yi? Even if he was looking for a small wife, shouldn't it be Shu? What was up with this Xiao? Her heart hurt, but she felt that it was because of Shu. Yes, it was because of Shu. Shu, this is their family matter. Why do we have to be so nosy? Meng Yao turned around and held Shu's hand, looking at Lin Yi faintly. Let's meet at that KTV. Shu, let's go. Oh. Yushu looked at Lin Yi. Shield bro, you disappoint me. This small wife sucks. With that, Yushu left with Meng Yao before Xiao could say anything. Xiao wanted to say something, but she could only keep it to herself. Watching Miss and Shu leave, Lin Yi smiled bitterly and sighed. He was afraid that they were really angry this time. However, what could Lin Yi say? Lin Yi glanced at Tang Yun and realized that she was also looking at him with a bitter smile. Lin Yi could only give her a comforting look. Meng Yao grabbed Yushu's hand and strode down the stairs. Ow, Yao, you're hurting me. Yushu cried out in pain as Meng Yao squeezed her hand. I'm sorry, Shu. Meng Yao realized that she'd used too much force. It's okay, Yao sis. I'm a little sad. I'm so disappointed with Shield Bro. Yushu's heart was hurting as well. She had always thought that Shield Bro liked her, and as long as Tang Yun nodded, he would accept her and Yao, but now. Maybe it's not Lin Yi's fault. Can't you see that bitter smile on his face? Meng Yao was looking more closely. Maybe it's that Xiao's problem. Oh, I got it. It must be Tang Yun. She thinks that Yao and I are a threat to her, so she found a small wife to fight against us. Yushu suddenly had an idea. Yao sis, look at that Xiao. Her personality is pretty similar to mine. She probably found her based on me. That way, Tang Yun would be tied with us 2-2, and our advantage would be gone. Wah! Meng Yao's eyes went wide. Wasn't Shu's theory a little too shocking? In order to fight against her, Tang Yun found a small wife similar to Yushu? Meng Yao found it unbelievable. After all, this didn't seem like Tang Yun's style. Yao sis, did you notice? Tang Yun seems to be getting her breasts booty. I just saw that her breasts are getting bigger. Yushu continued her analysis. But her boobs are big, but that only makes up for one of her disadvantages. She can't play 3P with Shield Bro alone, so she had no choice but to find a small wife so that they can play 3P with Shield Bro as well. Yushu's words shocked Meng Yao to the core. Meng Yao thought that Yushu's theory was a little ridiculous. But who knew if Tang Yun was thinking the same thing? She admitted that Xiao was Lin Yi's small wife. Meng Yao was a little annoyed. Even if she is, it's Tang Yun's doing. It has nothing to do with Lin Yi. Yeah, I knew that Shield Bro wouldn't abandon us. Yushu was happy again at the thought. She waved her fist. Yao sis, look. You want to treat Tang Yun better, but how does she treat us? Getting a small wife to fight against us? Why don't we fight her till the end? What does it have to do with us if she finds a few wives for Lin Yi? Meng Yao said faintly. Forget it, Shu. Yushu looked at Meng Yao, wanting to say something but didn't. The two went downstairs and got into Faubert's Bentley. Meng Yao told Faubert to go to Tiendi Entertainment on the business street. Lin Yi, Tang Yun, and Xiao left the school together. Xiao, you're driving your own Audi TT? Lin Yi wanted to get Xiao away from him and discuss a plan with Tang Yun. He wanted to call the miss and explain. He could tell that the miss and Shu were really angry. No, I'll go with you guys. Xiao shook her head. She didn't want to drive herself. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything. He was driving Yushu's beetle, and Xiao sat in the back, giving the front seat to Tang Yun. Lin Yi found it funny. This Xiao had the awareness of being a small wife? Although Lin Yi agreed to Tianlong's request, Lin Yi had prepared for the worst-case scenario. He wanted Xiao to completely fall out with Tang Yun, and Tang Yun would have to endure it silently. But now, he didn't know what Tang Yun did, but Xiao accepted Tang Yun and willingly became a small wife. In the car, Tang Yun wanted to talk to Xiao about Meng Yao and Yushu, but she wasn't that close with Xiao. She didn't want to mess things up. In fact, from Tang Yun's perspective, she understood Meng Yao and Yushu very well. As far as they were concerned, even if Lin Yi were to find another girlfriend, it would be the two of them. Now that he found Xiao, how could they feel good about it? Hopefully, after Lin Yi explained things to them tonight, they would understand her and Xiao. In front of Tiandi KTV, Lin Yi saw Faubert's Bentley. Chapter 999. Chapter 997. Led astray by Xu Mingyao and Yushu, who were in the Bentley, got out of the car as well when they saw Lin Yi. The miss had returned to her usual cold and arrogant self, treating Lin Yi and Tang Yun coldly, just like how she was at the beginning. Lin Yi, go get a room. Meng Yao spoke to Lin Yi as if he was just a follower. Okay. Lin Yi didn't say much, only nodding. However, when Lin Yi and the others were about to enter the KTV, a couple of taxis stopped in front of the KTV, and the people who got out of the taxis were all students from Class 5, including Xie Yufeng. Evidently, Xie Yufeng had chosen this KTV as well. He didn't mean to come to the same KTV with Lin Yi, but Tiandi KTV was one of the more luxurious places in Songshan, and it was recommended by his classmates. Truly, one could wear out iron shoes in fruitless search, only to find it by chance. A faint smile appeared on Xie Yufeng's face. He had already given up on interacting with Lin Yi tonight, but the two of them came to the same KTV at the same time. Students, you guys are from Class 5 too, right? You guys look familiar. Xie Yufeng got out of the car and walked towards Lin Yi and the others. Lin Yi saw Xie Yufeng walking towards Meng Yao, but he stopped and stood a meter away from Meng Yao. This Xie Yufeng was a master at the peak of the early phase of mystic class. Lin Yi didn't know where he came from, so he had to be on guard. If he suddenly attacked Meng Yao, Lin Yi would be able to block him in time. At this distance, Lin Yi could stop him before he attacked, or even kill him. Yes, what's the matter? Meng Yao didn't want to get involved with them, but she couldn't just ignore them when they came over to greet her. Meng Yao always reminded herself that the daughter of the school board needed to be more mindful of her image. Hee, we're also here to practice singing. Why don't we do it together? It'll be livelier this way. Yufeng glanced at Tang Yun, Xiao, and Yushu from the corner of his eyes, especially when his gaze landed on Yushu's breasts. An evil light flashed in his eyes. If he could hold it in his hands, it would definitely feel great, right? Tang Yun and Xiao, both of them were stunning beauties. Thank you, but we don't like crowds. Meng Yao shook her head, rejecting Yufeng's suggestion. We won't hold you guys up any longer. We'll be leaving first. With that, Meng Yao grabbed Yushu's hand and walked towards the KTV entrance. Only then did Lin Yi turn around, not even looking at Yufeng as he escorted Meng Yao and the others into the KTV. Fuck! Yufeng cursed in a low voice. Who the hell are you, acting all high and mighty? I'll get you on top of me sooner or later. Make you scream. Yufeng turned around after he was done, returning to his warm smile as he faced the class. Haha, they're not giving you any face. Let's go have some fun. The class was thankful that Yufeng invited them to KTV, but out of fear of Lin Yi, no one dared to say anything bad about Lin Yi. He even dared to beat up Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming. How could they say anything bad about him? Yufeng thought that everyone would respond to his scolding of Lin Yi and Meng Yao, but he didn't expect the silence. He was even more pissed, but he didn't show it on his face. He only whispered to Tsongming, "Go check their room number." Tsongming nodded and went to the service counter to ask for Lin Yi's room number. The staff didn't think much of it. He saw Tang Yun's uniform, and Tsongming's group was wearing the same uniform, so he thought that they were together. He naturally told Tsongming Lin Yi's room number. Xie Yufeng pretended like he didn't know anything and got a big room before going upstairs with the rest of the class. Lin Yi got a middle room, and it was quite spacious for 5 people. Lin Yi didn't know how to sing, so he just sat on the sofa after entering the room. Tang Yun, on the other hand, naturally sat next to Lin Yi. Xiao, on the other hand, was the first to sit on the other side of Lin Yi. And so, Lin Yi was surrounded. Yushu saw this and wasn't happy. "Hey, you're taking my seat." Yushu glared at Xiao. "Your seat? Where's your seat?" Xiao curled her lips as she looked at Yushu mockingly. "I'm usually sitting next to Shield Bro," Yushu said. "You said it yourself, it's usually when I'm not here." Xiao said nonchalantly. "Now that I'm here, of course I'm sitting next to Lin Yi." "Shield Bro, look, she's bullying Shu." Yushu looked at Lin Yi wronged. "You don't like Shu anymore, do you?" "I'm not sitting, you guys sit." Lin Yi stood up helplessly. He really didn't know what to do. He couldn't explain, so he just endured it. "I'm not sitting either, you can have it." Xiao giggled as she stood up. "I'll sit then, I'll sit." Yushu happily sat in Xiao's seat. The next moment, Xiao felt like she'd been tricked. Lin Yi stood up, but he had to sit down eventually. Tang Yun didn't stand up, so wouldn't Lin Yi have to sit next to her later? Wouldn't that mean that Lin Yi would be sitting next to Yushu? With that thought, Xiao sat in Lin Yi's seat, sitting next to Tang Yun. Yushu was on the other side, but she didn't care. "What song are you guys singing? I'll help you guys order." Lin Yi wasn't too interested in singing, but the song ordering system was simple. Lin Yi only needed one look to know how to do it. Meng Yao saw that Shu and Xiao were going head-to-head again, and she felt a little helpless. But she was curious. What was going on with this Xiao? Her instincts told her that Tang Yun wasn't the type of person Shu said she was. Did she really think that she was inferior to her and Shu, that she couldn't have a threesome with Lin Yi, so she got a mistress to make up the numbers? But if she really thought that way, wouldn't she have asked her and Shu to have a threesome? Why would she ask Xiao? Meng Yao, on the other hand, was startled by her own thought. What kind of nonsense was she thinking about? How could she have such impure thoughts? Yeah, she must have been led astray by Shu. Chapter 1000. Chapter 998. Attentive Xie Yufeng. "Oh, I'll sing Su Shihan's song too, Yao sis." Yushu said. "Are there any love songs for men and women to sing together?" "Lin Yi, let's sing together." Xiao said. "I don't know how to sing. You sing it yourself." Lin Yi quickly stopped her, or Yushu would explode again. As expected, Yushu was very happy at Lin Yi's words. "Oh, Shield Bro doesn't want to sing with you, disappointed? What's wrong with that? He doesn't know how to sing, and he doesn't want to sing with me, and he doesn't want to sing with you." Xiao said. "Why not? We sing it every day, what's it called?" "Right, it's called Happy Nights." Yushu said. "Happy Nights? You sing in the middle of the night?" Xiao blinked. "Shield Bro, Yao sis, and I play 3P every night." Yushu said proudly. 3P? Xiao didn't believe Yushu's words, but she didn't back down. 3P, huh? We're all sick of that. We've switched to role-playing and uniform seduction. Yours outdated. Role-playing uniform seduction. Yushu's head spun. "We do that a lot too. Yao and I dress up as Happy Goat, and Shield Bro dresses up as Big Wolf." "Haha." Xiao started laughing. "What kind of role-playing is that?" "That's child's play. I'm talking about me and Tang Yun sis dressing up as air stewardesses or office workers. Don't you see Tang Yun sis always wearing the school uniform? It's called uniform seduction." Oh. Yushu was embarrassed, but she defended herself. "That's also role-playing. Haven't you heard of a song? The wolf falls in love with the sheep." Tang Yun looked at Meng Yao apologetically, shrugging helplessly. She couldn't explain it to Meng Yao, and this was the only way to express her innocence. Meng Yao paused at Tang Yun's expression. Could it be that Tang Yun didn't call Xiao here on purpose? Tang Yun smiled bitterly, and so did Lin Yi. Meng Yao, on the other hand, was a little suspicious. Just how did Xiao become Lin Yi's small wife? At this time, Su Shihan's prelude started playing from the speakers. Meng Yao saw that it was her song, so she walked over and picked up the microphone. "All right, Shu, stop arguing, I'm going to sing." Yushu nodded. Yushu shut her mouth and ignored Xiao. Xiao, on the other hand, didn't know what to say. She shut her mouth and listened to Meng Yao sing. At this moment, the atmosphere in the room calmed down a little. Lin Yi let out a breath of relief, and so did Tang Yun. Xiao was there, but Meng Yao didn't have stage fright at all. The miss was proud and confident, and she didn't sing in front of outsiders often, but it was undeniable that her voice was very good. She wasn't as good as those professionally trained singers, but the miss had a great voice. She didn't need to mimic anyone at all. Just using her own voice to sing was already very nice. All in all, Lin Yi felt that the miss voice was very nice. He didn't know if it was Su Shihan's song or the miss performance, but this was the first time Lin Yi liked this song. He decided to download it when he got back. The miss hadn't finished yet, but halfway through, there was a knock on the door. The miss thought that it was a waiter who came to deliver snacks and fruits, so she didn't pay much attention. She only said to the door during the accompaniment, "Come in." When they first arrived, Lin Yi ordered some snacks casually. The cost of KTV was high, but it wasn't much to Lin Yi. However, the door opened, and the person who entered wasn't a waiter, but Xie Yufeng. Xie Yufeng pushed the door open and walked in, clapping his hands. "I heard this beautiful voice at the door. It's like the sound of nature. I want to record it and use it as my phone's ringtone." Meng Yao looked at Xie Yufeng faintly, as if the person he was praising wasn't her. She only nodded slightly. "What's the matter? I invited you guys earlier, but you didn't come, so I ordered some snacks for you guys. They'll be here soon." Xie Yufeng smiled. "We'll be in the same class from now on. I don't have any other intentions, I just want to get along with everyone." "It's okay. We've already ordered snacks." Meng Yao rejected Xie Yufeng faintly. She didn't know why, but when she saw this Xie Yufeng, she felt a sense of familiarity. It made her wary. In fact, when Lin Yi saw Xie Yufeng, he felt a sense of familiarity as well, but Lin Yi's attention was drawn to his strength, so he neglected this small detail. After all, a student at the peak of the early phase of the Mystic Division. This shocked Lin Yi. Xie Yufeng didn't say anything else, but turned around and sat beside Yushu. He was prepared to make his move on Yushu first. Looking at her breasts, he couldn't help but want to push her down on his crotch. Xie Yufeng was an extremely lustful person, but he hid it better in front of his father. However, with his strength at the peak of the early phase of the Mystic Division, even if he had 10 women in one night, he wouldn't feel any discomfort. After all, the stamina of a Mystic Division master was shockingly strong, so it wasn't a big deal to go overboard. "Haha, nice to meet you, beautiful lady. Xie Yufeng." Xie Yufeng extended his hand to Yushu elegantly, looking at her with a melancholic smile. "Move your hand away. Don't block my view of Yao Yao's singing." Yushu waved her hand impatiently, telling him not to block her. Yushu's words made Xie Yufeng's face stiffen, a hint of annoyance flashing across his eyes, but he hid it well. "Haha, beautiful lady not giving me face? That's embarrassing." Xie Yufeng shrugged, mocking himself. "Stop talking. I'm listening to Yao Yao's singing." Yushu glared at Xie Yufeng, unhappy. "I think he's pretty handsome. Why don't you be his mistress? He seems to be interested in you?" Xiao said gloatingly as she watched Yufeng trying to please Yushu. "Why don't you go be his concubine?" Yushu stopped listening to the song and turned her head to rebuke. Chapter 1001. A mistake. "Haha, you must be joking, beauty. Why wouldn't I like you? I'm just afraid that you won't like me, so I didn't say anything." Yufeng didn't know about the conflict between Xiao and Yushu, and hearing her weird tone, he thought that she was jealous of him talking to Yushu. Yufeng, on the other hand, felt that Xiao must be interested in him. Since that was the case, he might as well hit on Xiao first. Her breasts weren't as big as Yushu's, but she was pretty. "Then you're right, I don't like you." Xiao nodded after hearing Yufeng's words. "Wah!" Yufeng froze at Xiao's words, and his face darkened. What did this Xiao mean? She didn't like him, so what was she talking about? At the thought, Yufeng's heart was filled with a desire to conquer. He'd always been successful with girls, and in Yanjing, everyone knew that he was the young master of House Yu. There were countless girls throwing themselves at him, and even if some of them were pure and didn't take the initiative, he'd still be successful if he made the first move. And so, with Xiao and Yushu ignoring him, Yufeng felt that it was a challenge. As far as he was concerned, These two girls must have a close relationship with Lin Yi, but with his years of experience, Yushu and Xiaoxiao were still virgins. This made him want to get ahead of them. As far as he was concerned, getting on Lin Yi's girlfriend before Lin Yi would be the same as making him a cuckold. Even if House you couldn't do anything to Lin Yi right now, making Lin Yi a cuckold would still feel good. And so, Yu Feng smiled, not minding it at all. Haha, pretty girl, you're quite funny. As Yu Feng said that, someone knocked on the door of the room. Come in. Yu Feng said nonchalantly, getting Yushu and Xiaoxiao's looks of disdain at him. But Yu Feng didn't mind at all. In the dark room, he didn't notice Yushu and Xiaoxiao's expressions at all. He was waiting for the waiter to bring in the snacks and the things he wanted, so his whole attention was on the waiter who came in at the door. Hello, guests in the private room. These are the fruits and snacks you ordered. Please enjoy. The waiter walked in and placed the fruit platter and snacks on the coffee table. Then, he turned around and was about to leave the room. Haha, it's my treat. Come, beauties, try the fruits in this plate. Yu Feng waved his hand at Xiaoxiao and Yushu. Because Tang Yun was quite far away, and Yu Feng's energy was limited, he decided to make his move on Yushu and Xiaoxiao first. As for Tang Yun and Meng Yao, they'd be his sooner or later, so there was no rush. Your treat. Yushu heard Yu Feng's words and looked at him with disdain. This is Shield Bro's treat, and you're using someone else's food to treat us? Wah! Yu Feng paused. Shield Bro? Who is it? This is the fruit platter I ordered. I ordered for you guys before I came, and... At that point, Yu Feng realized that something wasn't right. Other than the fruit platter and snacks, he'd also asked for flowers. This was a great weapon for hitting on girls, but the waiter didn't bring it in with him. He was in a rush to show off and forgot about this. Now that he thought about it, he realized that something was wrong. Fortunately, there was another knock on the door from outside the private room. Yu Feng let out a breath of relief, thinking that the heavens were on his side. He quickly stood up. Come in. This time, the waiter brought in what Yu Feng had ordered. It was a fruit platter, snacks, and 2 bouquets of flowers. Yu Feng calmed down when he saw the flowers and quickly walked over to take them. He then turned to Xiaoxiao and Yushu. My stuff's here now, eat as much as you want, no need to be polite. But, after taking the fruit platter and snacks, Yu Feng realized that there was no more space on the coffee table. The snacks and fruit platters that Lin Yi had ordered were all taken up. After Yu Feng came in, Lin Yi had been watching him coldly from afar. Lin Yi had always been suspicious of Yu Feng. From his style and tone, he was a typical arrogant and narcissistic person. But, he was a mystic early phase peak at such a young age, and he did have the right to be arrogant. Yu Feng's goal of approaching Yushu and Xiaoxiao was obvious as well. He was probably here to hit on girls. Of course, Lin Yi wouldn't stop him. He just watched from the side. He believed that as long as Yu Feng didn't use force, he wouldn't be able to take advantage of them. Lin Yi even felt a little sad for Yu Feng. Of all the girls he could have gone after, why did he have to go after Yushu and Xiaoxiao? How dare he touch these 2 girls? Did he think his life was too long? Eat slowly, there's more here. I'll put it aside for now. You can bring it back when you're done. Yu Feng couldn't just keep holding the fruit platter and snacks, so he put them on the cabinet not far away. He took the 2 bouquets of flowers and walked over to Yushu and Xiaoxiao. 2 beauties, this is for you. Oh, thank you. Yushu didn't reject this time and took the flowers. Yu Feng was overjoyed at the sight. It seemed that the flowers were useful. Girls all liked flowers. Xiaoxiao saw Yushu take the flowers and asked, What, you're giving up on your shield bro and becoming Yu Feng's small wife? Small wife. Yu Feng was overjoyed. It seemed like these girls weren't the conservative type. If they could be concubines, then they wouldn't mind having multiple wives and concubines. Wouldn't it be fine for him to do them at the same time? With that thought, Yu Feng quickly said, I'm actually a very fair person. I treat both the big wife and the small wife equally, and I really love the small wife. Look, hurry up and bring your first wife, Yao Yao, to him. Xiaoxiao said to Yushu. Why don't you bring your Tang Yun sis to be his small wife? Yushu asked back. You took his flowers, I didn't. Xiaoxiao said. Chapter 1002. Coincidentally enough. Xiaoxiao frowned and snatched the flowers from Yu Feng's hands before running over to Lin Yi, handing it to Lin Yi. Lin Yi, this is for you. Ugh. Lin Yi could only smile bitterly at the flowers from both Xiaoxiao and Yushu. The reason why Lin Yi didn't kick Yufeng out was because Lin Yi wanted to observe him from the shadows and figure out where he came from. A mystic class master like this suddenly appeared in school, and in his class, Lin Yi wouldn't believe it if someone said that he wasn't here for Mengyao or himself. Secondly, Lin Yi wanted to use Yufeng's disturbance to make Xiaoxiao and Yushu stop fighting for a while. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any peace for the rest of the night. But now it seemed that Lin Yi's judgment was wrong. Xiaoxiao and Yushu actually shifted Yufeng's conflict to him. Lin Yi took Yushu's flowers and Xiaoxiao's, but he didn't hold them for long. Lin Yi gave them to Mengyao, who was still singing. You sing really well for you. Mengyao couldn't help but smile when she heard Lin Yi complimenting her singing. She was overjoyed and couldn't help but smile. She reached out to take the flowers from Lin Yi and held them in her arms. Thank you. Mengyao was so focused on singing that she didn't notice where the flowers came from. She thought that Lin Yi had gotten it for her, and her heart was sweeter than honey. It seemed like he had some taste, knowing how to please her. The flowers were from Lin Yi, and Xiaoxiao wasn't too happy about it, but she couldn't do anything about it. Yushu, on the other hand, was happy. Lin Yi giving it to Mengyao was the same as giving it to her, wasn't it? Yufeng's face didn't look too good. His flower had been given to someone else. No matter how stupid he was, he could tell that Yushu and Xiaoxiao were fighting over Lin Yi. This Lin Yi seemed to be quite popular, huh? So many girls seemed to be in an ambiguous relationship with him? With that thought, Yufeng's eyes flashed with contemplation. It seemed like Lin Yi was a tough opponent. But Yufeng was confident. After all, he felt that he was more handsome than Lin Yi. He was better than Lin Yi in every aspect. Before he came to school, he asked Wang Tsongming to inquire about Lin Yi. Lin Yi hadn't been in school for long, and he'd already beaten up the two big bullies, Zhong Pinliang and Zhou Ruoming. Was it because Lin Yi could fight that these girls liked Lin Yi so much? That was possible. Xie Yufeng himself was a practitioner, and so he worshipped strength. He had the mindset that strength was the king in his bones. As far as he was concerned, the reason why these girls liked Lin Yi was because Lin Yi had strength. Didn't girls this age all look up to guys who were good at fighting? What's the big deal with a few hooligans? With his strength, it would be a piece of cake for him to do so. Yufeng was eager to show off his strength in front of Xiaoxiao and Yushu. He couldn't show off his practitioner's strength, but with his normal physique, as long as it wasn't a professional practitioner or a group, he was confident that he could win. As far as he was concerned, no matter how strong those hooligans were, they were just messing around. He could take them down in a few moves. Plus, as long as Lin Yi wasn't there, he could just use some qi secretly. Who would be able to tell? Unless there was a practitioner there and they could feel his qi, normal people wouldn't be able to tell. But Lin Yi had already laid a solid foundation in school, and he'd stomped on those troublemakers until they lost their temper. They knew how strong Lin Yi was, and they wouldn't mess with the people around Lin Yi that easily. If he wanted to show off his strength, he wouldn't have the chance to do so. He really hoped that some blind hooligans would come out and mess with Xiaoxiao and Yushu. That way, he could be the hero saving the damsel in distress. Didn't Lin Yi win Tang Yun's heart because he beat up Zhou Ruoming? Right now, Yufeng could only use gentle tactics. He looked at Xiaoxiao and started chatting with her. You're Xiaoxiao, right? I've heard of your name for a long time, one of the school beauties of Songshan's first. Where did you hear that? You made it up yourself, right? Xiaoxiao rolled her eyes. Impatient. Why haven't you heard that I'm the last of the big four? I heard that you're one of the big four. Yufeng laughed. Do you have any hobbies? I like playing basketball, playing pool and singing. Oh, not bad. Do you gamble or smoke? Xiaoxiao asked. No. I don't have any of those bad habits. Yufeng thought that Xiaoxiao was ready to accept him, so he quickly shook his head and denied it. All right, I'll be fine. Then do you race? Xiaoxiao asked. No, I'd never do something that dangerous. Yufeng shook his head subconsciously. Oh, sorry, we don't have anything in common. I like racing. Xiaoxiao smiled. Ha! Yufeng blinked, realizing that he'd been tricked. Xiaoxiao asked him about a bad habit, and after he denied it, she asked him about racing, which seemed like a bad habit. He must have denied it subconsciously, but Xiaoxiao said that she liked it. Thinking about how he'd been tricked by Xiaoxiao, Yufeng was furious, but he couldn't go back on his words. But I'm a collector of famous cars, and there's a lot of them in my garage, like Ferrari, Porsche, and so on. They're all normal stuff. Xiaoxiao was ready to fight Yushu for 300 rounds, but this Yufeng's sudden appearance annoyed her. She'd already made fun of him a couple of times already. Why didn't this guy know his place? Why did he keep messing with her? You're talking to me? Why don't you go bother Yushu, that big tits girl? Yushu, I'm going to the washroom. You coming? Xiaoxiao turned to Yushu. Chapter 1003. A temporary alliance. And so, under Lin Yi, Tang Yun, and Ming Yao's shocked gazes, Xiaoxiao and Yushu left the room. Why did you call me out? Yushu asked Xiaoxiao when they reached the door. She didn't think that Xiaoxiao would be nice enough to ask her to go to the washroom. Don't you think that Xie Yufeng is annoying? Xiaoxiao asked. Very annoying. It's affecting my PK with you. Yushu nodded. I think so too, so I've decided to deal with that Xie Yufeng first, then you. Xiaoxiao said. What do you think? You want to ally with me? Yushu wasn't stupid. Just a temporary alliance. We'll continue after we deal with Xie Yufeng. Xiaoxiao nodded. All right, it's settled then. Yushu and Xiaoxiao hit it off. Do you have any ideas? Not yet, I'm thinking. Xiaoxiao shook her head. The two talked as they walked towards the washroom, but in reality, they didn't intend to go there. They stood at the door, thinking of an idea. Pretty girl, waiting for someone here? A chubby-looking drunk man had just come out of the washroom, and his eyes lit up when he saw Yushu and Xiaoxiao at the washroom door. Such a pretty girl. Much better than the girls he found in the room. One look and he could tell that she was a pure and innocent student, so he couldn't help but tease her. This man was called Lei Jianghu, the boss of Tiandi Entertainment City, Zhou Tiandi's guest. He did the empty car distribution business in the province, and he was also a big boss. He did things without any fear. If he saw a pretty girl in a nightclub or entertainment city, he would push her into the room. If she was obedient, it would be fine, but if she wasn't, he would threaten and bribe her, giving her a sum of money afterwards, and that was it. Most of the girls who frequented nightclubs and entertainment city weren't pure, and they weren't virgins, so they didn't care if they were hit, and they could still get a sum of money afterwards. They were afraid of Lei Jianghu's power, so they didn't dare to call the police. Therefore, Lei Jianghu became more and more unscrupulous. The sudden appearance of the storm made Xiaoxiao and Yushu pause. They looked at each other and understood each other's intentions. We came out with another man, I'm sorry. We can't accompany you anymore. Xiaoxiao looked at Lei Jianghu regretfully. Yeah, we want to go with you, but our partner's really strong. You can't afford to mess with him, so we can't go with you. Yushu blinked helplessly as well. After the two of them finished speaking, they looked at each other again. This time, there was a sense of mutual appreciation. The two of them really hit it off and thought of the same thing. They all wanted to use this man to deal with Yufeng. When Lei Jianghu heard Xiaoxiao and Yushu's words, he knew that there was hope. The two girls did not directly refuse, but said that they had a male companion, and that the male companion was very powerful, so he could not let them accompany him. So, Lei Jianghu was overjoyed. He waved his hand and said nonchalantly, Humph, in this Songzhan city, who can be more powerful than me, Lei Jianghu? Others dare to snatch the girl that I like? No way, Lei bro, although we want to accompany you, our partner is very strong. Xiaoxiao shook her head and said with a bitter face. Yeah, he's very strong. Lei bro, you look very strong, but I'm afraid you're not his match. Yushu reminded worriedly. Fuck. Go back and tell him that I, Lei Jianghu, have taken a liking to you. If he has any complaints, go to Lei bro's good station and look for me. I'll kill him. Lei Jianghu heard Xiaoxiao and Yushu praising their partner, and he was instantly enraged. We don't dare to, Lei bro. Why don't you go back with us and talk about it? Xiaoxiao said. Sure. I'll go back with you guys. Lei Jianghu was obviously drunk. He didn't consider if there was any conspiracy in Xiaoxiao and Yushu's words. He waved his hand and was about to leave with them. At this time, two men came out from the washroom. One was bald and the other had an aquiline nose. When the two came out, the bald man said to Lei Jianghu, Lei bro, why are you here? Ha! When the bald man saw Xiaoxiao and Yushu, His eyes lit up. He didn't expect Lei Bro to be so powerful. He could find 2 beautiful girls in the washroom. If Lei Bro was done with them, wouldn't it be his turn? Oh, these 2 girls are willing to play with us, but they said that their partner is very strong. I'll go with them to settle it. Lei Jianghu said casually. Xie Yufeng saw Xiao and Yushu going to the washroom together. He wanted to go with them too. This was a good opportunity to interact with them alone. Who knows, he might be able to do something to please them. However, Xie Yufeng couldn't go out immediately after Xiao and Yushu left. It would seem a little too deliberate. He waited for a while and stood up. He pretended to go to the washroom and walked out of the room. However, when he reached the corridor, he saw Xiao and Yushu being surrounded by 3 fierce-looking men. Someone was looking for trouble? Xie Yufeng's brain short-circuited. He was so excited that he didn't know what to do. This was a great opportunity given to him by the heavens. Before this, Xie Yufeng didn't have a chance to show off his strength. He didn't expect the opportunity to come so soon. Xie Yufeng really wanted to burn incense for these 3. They appeared at the perfect time. Dearest, you guys exist to show off to me. With that thought, Xie Yufeng ran over and asked anxiously, Xiao Shu, what's wrong? Who are they? Xiao and Yushu wanted to lure these people into the room and beat Xie Yufeng up. They didn't expect this idiot Xie Yufeng to come out of the room on his own. He was really looking for trouble. The 2 looked at each other and smiled. This Xie Yufeng really came from the Suicide Squad. Oh, our partner is looking for us. Yushu said nervously, sorry Lei Bro, we have to go back. Lei Bro, we have to go back with him. See you next time. Xiao said to Lei Jianghu. Chapter 1004. She didn't pretend Lei Jianghu was delighted to see Yufeng running towards him. Strong with this physique? Kid, are you their man? Lei Jianghu thought that Feng Xiaoxiao's partner meant her boyfriend, so the moment she opened her mouth, she asked if Xie Yufeng was their man. Yufeng was overjoyed. You have good eyesight, aren't you? Just because of what you said, I'll beat you up a little less. I was planning to cripple you for life, but I'll let you stay in the hospital for half a year. Who are you? Xiao Shu, is he bothering you? Yufeng didn't deny it and accepted Lei Jianghu's title. Kid, this is none of your business. Our Lei Bro has taken a liking to your girl. You can get lost now. The bald man laughed when he saw Yufeng's reaction. He was a typical pretty boy. This type of guy was good at seducing girls, but he was nothing in a fight. He could beat 3 to 4 of them with a single punch. Xiao Shu, stay back, I'll take care of this. Yufeng was really afraid that the 3 of them would run away the moment they saw him. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to show his strength even if he chased after them. But the 3 of them seemed to be cooperating with him. Not only did they not leave, they even said some annoying things. Yufeng almost laughed out loud. The 3 of you appeared at the right time. But since you're here, cooperate with me. Kid, are you determined not to leave? Lei Jianghu was taken aback when he saw that Yufeng still dared to stay after seeing the 3 of them. Abandoning your girl and running away, that's the behavior of a coward. Yufeng smiled faintly and said, You 3, if you don't want to spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair, then get lost. Shout. Lei Jianghu was amused when he heard Yufeng's tone. Kid, are you stupid? Are you threatening me? Why don't you go and find out about my reputation in the underworld? I'm in a hurry to play with them, I don't want to talk to you, and you dare to be so cocky? Alright, cut the bullshit. You 3 come at me together. Yufeng said faintly. If he didn't use his pure qi, Yufeng wouldn't be a match for these 3. After all, Yufeng didn't have a lot of battle experience. He relied on his spiritual strength. But these 3 looked like normal gangsters. Even if Yufeng used his qi, they wouldn't know what was going on. That was why Yufeng dared to say that he wanted the 3 of them to come at him together. Xiao and Yushu, on the other hand, frowned as they looked at each other in disbelief at Yufeng. Yufeng taking the initiative, and calmly asking the 3 to attack together. This made Xiao and Yushu a little confused. What did Yufeng rely on? Was he really a master of fighting? If that was the case, then their plan had failed. Not only did they fail to chase Xie Yufeng away, but they also let him be in the limelight. Brother Lei, since this kid wants to die, let's get rid of him first. Baldy glanced at Lei Jianghu and said, All right, let's go together and kill him, then go to the private room and play with the girls. Lei Zhenyu nodded. He didn't even put Xie Yufeng in his eyes. He walked towards Xie Yufeng and reached out his hand to pull Xie Yufeng's hair. Get lost! Xie Yufeng spat out a word, scram, and kicked Lei Zhenyu's chest, sending him flying away. Of course, Yufeng only used a little bit of pure qi. He didn't want to cripple Lei Zhenyu directly. That would be too weak. He wanted to torture Lei Zhenyu bit by bit. Only then could he build up his heroic image in front of Yushu and Xiaoxiao. If he knocked Lei Zhenyu out in one hit, it would be too boring. Yushu and Xiaoxiao didn't know any martial arts. Seeing him defeat his opponent so easily, they wouldn't think that he was strong. After all, there weren't many opportunities for him to show off his strength. So Yufeng had to seize the opportunity to show off his strength in front of Yushu and Xiaoxiao. Fuck! This kid is a martial artist. Let's go! Lei Zhenyu's blood rushed to his head from the kick. His chest hurt. He got up from the ground and was furious. He pointed at Yufeng and ordered Baldy and Eagle Nose. Lin Yi was in the private room. He saw that Yufeng had left the private room and Xiaoxiao and Yushu hadn't returned yet. He was worried. Lin Yi didn't know Yufeng's background, so he didn't dare to let his guard down. Although it seemed like Yufeng wanted to pursue Xiaoxiao and Yushu, he wouldn't do anything to hurt them. But who knew if there would be any accidents? So Lin Yi waited for Yufeng to leave the private room. He thought for a while and followed him out. He couldn't let Xiaoxiao and Yushu leave his sight for too long, especially when there was an unstable factor like Yufeng. Lin Yi came out of the private room and saw Yufeng kicking Lei Zhenyu away. Yushu and Xiaoxiao were standing behind him. Lin Yi frowned at this. Could it be that Yushu and Xiaoxiao had gotten into some trouble, and this Xie Yufeng was helping them? Xiaoxiao Shu! Lin Yi called out to them as he walked. Lin Yi! Xiaoxiao called out happily. She'd only been out for a short while, and Lin Yi was already out, evidently worried that something had happened to her. Xiaoxiao was very happy. Shield bro! Yushu had the same thought as Xiaoxiao. It seemed like Shield bro was still worried about his little wife's safety. Wah! Only Yufeng froze when he heard Lin Yi's voice. What was Lin Yi doing out here? He didn't come out earlier or later. He just had to come out when he was beating up the bad guys and building up his heroic image in front of Yushu and Xiaoxiao. Was he trying to steal his credit? At the thought of this, Xie Yufeng regretted talking to this Lei Zhenyu. He didn't even manage to cripple him in one move. If he had directly knocked them down without saying anything, wouldn't the situation not have happened? No, he had to take care of these three as soon as possible. He couldn't let Lin Yi interfere. At this moment, Lei Zhenyu, Baldy, and Aquiline Nose were already closing in on him. Xie Yufeng took up his stance and was about to finish off the three of them in one move. But the moment he made his move, he stopped abruptly. Chapter 1005. Xie Yufeng, who felt wronged in front of normal people, no matter how much he used his qi, they wouldn't be able to sense anything wrong. But in front of practitioners, as long as there was a fluctuation of qi, they would be able to sense it. Xie Yufeng knew that Lin Yi was also a practitioner. If he used his qi, Lin Yi would be the first to sense his strength. Xie Yufeng jumped in fright. He was lucky. If his strength was exposed on the first day of school transfer, then this trip would be a waste. What would his father think of him? If he couldn't even do such a simple thing, how would he be able to take on important tasks in the future? Thus, Xie Yufeng quickly dispersed the qi he was about to condense. But trouble came again. Without the help of qi, Xie Yufeng was no match for these three people. These three people were gangsters who often fought. Xie Yufeng could deal with one of them, but to fight three at the same time, wasn't it a joke? He wasn't a physical practitioner. Spiritual practitioners relied on qi to fight. Without qi, they were no different from normal people. At most, they would be slightly stronger than normal people. Xie Yufeng was different from Lin Yi. Even if Lin Yi lost the support of qi, he had many years of experience in the battlefield. His skills were many times better than normal people. He also had countless assassination techniques and his body was very agile. Even if it was a fight, as long as the opponent wasn't a physical practitioner, Lin Yi could easily win. But Xie Yufeng couldn't. At this moment, he was in a dilemma. Guys, let's forget about today's matter. If you are not satisfied, you can leave your contact information. We will arrange a time to fight again. Xie Yufeng's face changed. In the end, he still said something to save face. Without qi, he had no chance of winning. Fuck, are you stupid? You think we'll forget about it? What happened to your ability to kick people? Didn't you tell us to attack together? Brothers, kill him. Lei Jianghu heard Xie Yufeng's words and laughed. It seemed like this kid was scared. One should always leave a way out so that they can meet again in the future. Do you insist on fighting today? Yufeng frowned. He felt that it was embarrassing, but he had to speak softly. In front of Lin Yi, he didn't dare to use his true qi. Facing these three people, wouldn't he only be able to take a beating? Escape route? You were the one who told us to attack together. Lei Jianghu laughed even louder when he saw Yufeng's cowardly look. Kid, why don't you kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times, call me grandpa, then crawl under my crotch and I'll let this go. Ha 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 ha. Crawl in the crotch. The bald man and the hook-nosed man laughed along. Yufeng's face turned green. He hated Lin Yi to the core. If you have nothing better to do, why don't you just stay in the private room and come out to wander around? He really hoped that Lin Yi would bring Yushu and Xiaoxiao back to the room right now, but Lin Yi seemed to be watching the show, not moving at all. Lin Yi, bring Xiaoxiao and Yushu back to the room, don't hurt them. Yufeng had no choice, he could only say this to Lin Yi, praying that Lin Yi would accept his suggestion. As long as Lin Yi left for a while, Yufeng would be able to use his true qi to cripple these 3 people. Lin Yi, on the other hand, looked at Yufeng with interest. He was curious, what was this Yufeng trying to do? They were already on the verge of a fight, but he suddenly started to speak softly. What was he trying to do? Plus, Lin Yi could clearly feel that Yufeng wanted to use his true qi, but he didn't. What was he trying to hide? Oh, I'm just a bystander. Lin Yi said faintly, but he didn't have any intention of leaving. Kid, you're still talking nonsense when you're about to die? Yufeng kicked Lei Jianghu just now, and Lei Jianghu's chest was still hurting. Seeing that Yufeng was still talking nonsense, he finally lost his patience and raised his leg to kick Yufeng. Yufeng was shocked, he wanted to dodge, but he didn't expect that he would be pinned down by the baldy and the aquiline nose. He thought that even though he couldn't use true qi, he could still rely on his agility. Even if he couldn't beat these 3 people, he wouldn't be at a disadvantage. As long as he could hold on for a while and wait for the security to come, he would be fine. But he didn't expect the baldy and aquiline nose to block him from both sides, not allowing him to move. The next moment, Yufeng screamed in pain, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. Lei Jianghu's kick landed on Yufeng's crotch. Kid, aren't you very capable? Aren't you pretending in front of me? I'll cripple you. Lei Jianghu said as he kicked Yufeng's crotch again, turning him into a shrimp. Yufeng's body was trembling in pain, he wanted to kill Lei Jianghu with a single palm, but when he thought about how Lin Yi was watching from the side, he could only endure it for the sake of House Yu. Luckily, he was a practitioner, his body was stronger than normal people. Although Lei Jianghu's kicks were painful, they didn't cause any physical damage. If not, Yufeng would have killed himself. Yufeng covered his crotch and squatted down, while Lei Jianghu, Baldy and the aquiline nose raised their fists and started punching Yufeng. Who asked you to pretend? Aren't you arrogant? How dare you be arrogant in front of me, Brother Lei? In Songshan's territory, I'll kill you. Don't you know, the boss of this KTV, Zhou Tiandi, is our Brother Lei's buddy. Killing you is a piece of cake. Yufeng, who didn't have any pure energy to protect his body, was beaten into a pig's head by the 3 of them. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had a playful smile on his face, but he didn't leave. He was still watching Lei Jianghu and the other 2 beat Yufeng up. Now, Lin Yi was completely sure that Yufeng was hiding something. He didn't want to show his strength in front of him, so the reason why Yufeng transferred schools was suspicious. Lin Yi was 80% sure that Yufeng was here for him. If not, why would he endure the beating and hide his strength in front of him? But Lin Yi didn't expose him, since he wanted to play the game of pretending to be a pig, then continue to pretend to be a pig. Lin Yi was happy to pretend that he didn't know anything. He just stood aside and watched the show. Chapter 1006. Happy Cooperation. Xiao Shu, let's go back, it's too dangerous here. There's a fight going on. Lin Yi ignored Yufeng's cries. Even if Lin Yi didn't know that he was a mystic early phase peak, Lin Yi would still be happy to see him get beaten up. He didn't know if that Lei Zhenyu's kicks were strong enough. It'd be best if he turned Yu Feng into a eunuch, then he wouldn't be able to pick up girls anymore. But Lin Yi knew that this was a good idea, but it wasn't realistic. Unless he did it himself, even if Yu Feng didn't use his qi, it was impossible for normal people to injure a mystic. Yeah, it's so dangerous. Should we call the police? Yushu nodded in agreement. I think we should call the ambulance. I think he'll have to go to the hospital later. Xiao said. Call the police. Yushu went against Xiao instinctively. Call the ambulance. Xiao didn't back down. Call the police. Yushu said. Call the ambulance. Xiao said. Then we won't, Yushu said. Then we won't. Xiao said. Oh, he can just wait to die. Yushu said. Yeah, it's good that he's dead. Xiao said. You didn't want to call the ambulance, did you? Yushu said. You didn't want to call the police, did you? Xiao said. You're so bad. Yushu said. Same here. Xiao said. The two smiled at each other. It was a happy cooperation. Lin Yi's face twitched as he listened to Xiao and Yushu's conversation. This Yu Feng was quite unlucky to run into these two little demonesses. And so, Yu Feng continued to get beaten up, and Lin Yi, Xiao, and Yushu walked towards the room. Yu Feng's cries were drowned out by the music in the hallway. Go faster, go faster. Yu Feng saw that Lin Yi had finally left, and he let out a sigh of relief. He was hoping that Lin Yi would enter the room soon, so he could use his pure qi to tear these three into pieces. How dare you treat me like this? I'll let you have a taste of the power of a mystic class master. Yu Feng gritted his teeth and thought to himself. Finally, Lin Yi, Xiao, and Yushu entered the room, and Yu Feng, who was being beaten up, suddenly jumped up from the floor, his body filled with an indescribable aura. This was the aura of a king. He'd turned his weak position around, becoming a man who looked down on the world. Are you done? Yu Feng had the protection of qi, so naturally, he could ignore the rain of punches from Lei Zhenyu and the others. He looked at Lei Zhenyu indifferently and asked in disdain. Fuck, you're really asking for a beating. Aren't you happy that you got beaten up? Brothers, let's work harder. Since this kid is itching for a beating, let's satisfy him. Lei Zhenyu saw that Yu Feng didn't beg for mercy, and instead asked him if he was done. He was furious. Yu Feng's lips curled into a mocking smile. He knew that these three would have to pay the price with their blood. But just when Yu Feng was about to punch, the door to Lin Yi's room opened again, and Lin Yi popped his head out, as if he was talking to himself. I wonder if this Yu Feng is dead or not. We're classmates after all, we can't just leave him to die. It's better to come out and have a look. Don't let him die. Yu Feng heard Lin Yi's words, and he didn't feel touched at all. Instead, he gritted his teeth in anger. Of all times to come out, why did you have to come out now? You're not trying to save me, you're trying to kill me. Yu Feng subconsciously dispersed all the qi in his body. In front of Lin Yi, he didn't dare to be careless at all. If he exposed himself, then the next step of House Yu's plan wouldn't be able to proceed. Ah! You're killing me! Yu Feng was afraid that Lin Yi would see through him, and so he fell to the ground, covering his head with his hands. Ha! Lei Zhenyu, Baldy, and the aquiline nose were stunned. They didn't know what Yu Feng was trying to do. Just a moment ago, he suddenly became violent, and in the blink of an eye, he turned into a coward? However, Lei Zhenyu and the others were only stunned for a moment, and then they raised their fists and started beating Yu Feng up again. Yu Feng felt a wave of sadness in his heart. Why was he so unlucky? Just when he wanted to fight back, this Lin Yi came out again. It's fine if you don't care, you can just leave quietly, but you don't care, and you keep coming out, aren't you just messing with people? You can still talk. Seems like you're not dead yet. I'll come out later. Lin Yi's lips curled into a smile, and he walked back into the room. In fact, one had to admit that sometimes, Lin Yi was even worse than Yushu and Xiao. This was also the reason why these two girls didn't mess with Lin Yi. Xiao tried a few times, but it all failed, and Yushu thought that Shield Bro was stronger than her. Yu Feng really had the urge to bite his tongue and kill himself. You still want to come out later? What are you looking at? Can you not look at me anymore? Although Yu Feng was praying, he knew that Lin Yi wouldn't do what he prayed, or else he would pray for Lin Yi to kill himself, and House Yu's revenge would be avenged. Fearing that Lin Yi would come out again, Yufeng didn't dare to use his qi anymore. He could only grit his teeth and endure the pain as he hummed, "Ninja Turtle, brave beyond compare, Ninja Turtle, invincible, full of magical power." How he wished that he could become a Ninja Turtle and carry a turtle shell on his back. Fuck, this kid can still sing? Looks like we didn't hit him hard enough. Lei Zhenyu couldn't hear what Yufeng was singing, but he could hear him humming, and he was furious. Brothers, keep hitting him, beat him until he can't sing anymore. And so, the punches on Yufeng's body became even more intense. Yufeng was beaten to the point where he was hovering between life and death. Yufeng swore in his heart, "You guys are dead meat. I'm afraid that I'll expose my target today. You guys have it easy." After a while, Lei Zhenyu was really tired, and he was a little surprised himself. How could this guy be so resistant? He hadn't fainted after so long. It seemed like he had a lot of resistance. Chapter 1007. Underground Arena, Part 1. Xie Yufeng crawled up from the ground. Although the gangsters didn't do much damage to him, there were still some superficial wounds. There were bruises all over his body. "Lin Yi. Lei Zhenyu. If I don't kill you, I swear I'm not a human. This guy's so pitiful, I don't know how he offended the gangsters, getting beaten up like this. I wonder if he's injured?" Someone sighed. "Yeah, he can't die, right? Let's go to the hospital for a checkup. Don't let him get an internal injury." Another person said. "What are you looking at?" Xie Yufeng gritted his teeth and glared at the crowd before leaving with a humph. He didn't have the face to go back to Lin Yi's room anymore, so he could only go back to his own room. Xie Yufeng's entrance attracted everyone's attention. In this room, Xie Yufeng was the main character. After all, he was the host, and his classmates treated him as the center of attention. Seeing him come back with a swollen face, they froze. Penghu and Song Ming, on the other hand, rushed over, looking at Yufeng nervously. "Master Xie, what's wrong?" "Your face." "It's nothing, the road was slippery, and I slipped." Xie Yufeng waved his hand and explained. Slippery road? Penghu and Song Ming knew how strong Xie Yufeng was. He was a mystic early phase peak. How could he fall over just because the road was slippery? But Xie Yufeng clearly didn't want to talk about it, so they couldn't ask. Lin Yi was just saying that, and he didn't go out after going back to the room. He was just trying to scare Yufeng, and since this guy wanted to hide his strength, then he'd just keep getting beaten up. Inside the room, Yushu and Xiaoxiao were at each other's throats again, arguing about something. Lin Yi could only smile bitterly. These two were evenly matched, and neither wanted to lose. They wanted to see who was stronger. However, the topic of conversation between the two was all over the place. From the initial fight over Lin Yi, it ran to who was more powerful. "I once made Yao Yao's pursuer, Zhong Pingliang, run a kilometer to buy me grilled squid," Yushu said. "That's nothing, I've scammed people before, making them treat me to a meal worth a few $100 million. Xiaoxiao didn't back down. Meng Yao didn't disturb the two as they were happily chatting. She passed the microphone to Tang Yun when she was tired. "Do you want to sing for a while?" "I don't want it, right?" Tang Yin had never been to a place like this before, and she didn't sing at home. She did listen to some pop songs, but it was just listening. She wouldn't be able to sing well if she were to sing. "Why don't you try? Otherwise, I'd be the only one singing." Meng Yao couldn't help but shake her head as she looked at Shu. She whispered to Tang Yun, "This Xiaoxiao. What's going on?" "I'll let Lin Yi explain it to you guys tonight. It's not good to say it here." Tang Yun was very careful, afraid that Xiaoxiao would notice something. "I see. Okay." Meng Yao nodded. Since Tang Yun said that, there had to be something going on. "Aren't you too tired?" Lin Yi asked as he looked at the excited Yushu and Xiaoxiao. "You guys hit it off so well. Why don't you guys form a group? You might even get a big prize." "No, I don't like people who are like me." Yushu shook her head. "One mountain can't have two tigers. You think I like you?" Xiaoxiao rejected as well. "Ha!" Lin Yi smiled. "Then are you guys going to sing or not? If not, I'll go back to sleep." "Of course we'll sing." Yushu jumped up at Lin Yi's words and looked at Xiaoxiao. Now it's Shu's turn to perform. Songshan was a city of neon lights under the night sky, and all the entertainment venues were filled with cars. People were coming and going, and the place was bustling with noise and excitement. But in this joyous and prosperous night, there was a place filled with blood and darkness. Good one. Kill him. Purple Wolf will win. Go Purple Wolf. Left hook, right hook. Kick his head. Kill Purple Wolf. Black Bear will win. This was an abandoned factory workshop, but after some remodeling, it had become an underground boxing arena. There were rows and rows of spectator seats around it, and there were many young people sitting there who were shouting wildly. In the VIP seats at the front, there were some people who looked like bosses with a calm demeanor. They had cigars in their mouths, and there was a faint smile on their faces as they looked at the bloody scene in the arena. Boss Lee, who did you bet on today? A fat man with a cigar in his mouth asked a middle-aged man wearing sunglasses beside him. Isn't it Purple Wolf? He won 3 rounds in a row already, and I bet 3 million on him today. The man with sunglasses called Boss Lee said with a smile. Although he said, but, he didn't seem to care about 3 million yuan at all. It was as if 3 million yuan was just a joke. Hee hee, I also bet on Purple Wolf, but I didn't bet as much as you, only 2 million. The fatty with the cigar laughed. Small bets are for fun, even if I lose, it's just like drinking a few bottles of red wine. You're right, we enjoy this kind of excitement. This arena is very good, very exciting. Those fake fights can't compare to this. This is a real fight to the death. The sunglasses man nodded. In the middle of the arena, 2 people wearing different colored headgear were fighting in close combat. One of them was wearing a headgear with a purple wolf pattern. This person was obviously the purple wolf that these people were talking about. The other person was wearing a headgear with a black bear pattern. This person was also the black bear that these people were talking about. Black Bear's body was already covered in blood from Purple Wolf's attacks. With another heavy punch, Purple Wolf sent Black Bear flying. Black Bear landed heavily on the stage. Wah! The audience cheered, some were excited, some were depressed. The excited ones were the ones who won the bet, and the depressed ones were the ones who lost the bet. Of course, most people didn't participate in the bet, but came here to watch the fight for excitement. Chapter 1008. Chapter 1006. Underground arena. If one were to calculate it, just the ticket sales alone would bring in millions of yuan of profit. This was a profitable business. The ticket sales weren't the most profitable, however. The most profitable business was betting on fights. No matter who won or lost, the house would always be the winner. Jianghu, who was hiding in the shadows, couldn't help but smile as he looked at the excited crowd. He asked his follower, Little Scorpion, not including today, how much money have we earned since we opened? Master One, we've earned 7 million already. Of course, that's including the 4 million we lost yesterday and the day before, otherwise we'd earn even more. The shifty-eyed man called Little Scorpion said respectfully with a notebook in his hand. Yes, Professor Een, are you sure this black bear can beat Purple Wolf today? I don't think he can do it. He's almost beaten to a pulp already, isn't he? Jianghu nodded, but he looked worriedly at the 40-year-old man beside him. This middle-aged man was Professor Een, sent by the Fire Wolf gang to help Jianghu. He was a biochemist, specializing in the transformation of the human body and its potential. He invented a drug that could temporarily make people forget pain, instantly activating all the potential in the human body, making them unable to feel pain, only knowing how to attack until the last bit of energy left in their body. And this black bear was the first user of this drug. The previous fights were all real fights with hired boxers. There were wins and losses, deaths and injuries, and so Jianghu won quite a lot of money as the banker. But since the day before yesterday, when this Purple Wolf appeared, Jianghu had been plotting this money-making scheme. Purple Wolf was very strong. He was a boxing master that Jianghu had hired from an underground arena in the south. He'd defeated his opponents 2 days in a row and won. So when Purple Wolf came out today, most people bet on Purple Wolf's victory. Some rich people didn't lack money, and they only came to gamble to pass the time. But they still hoped to win. Who wouldn't want to win when betting? But today, this black bear, although called Black Bear, was very skinny and weak. It didn't match the image of a black bear at all. His body was already weak, and he still wanted to fight the winner, Purple Wolf? What wishful thinking. So after seeing Black Bear's physique, everyone bet on Purple Wolf's victory. Some of the spectators saw Purple Wolf's ferocious strength and knew that his opponent was weak, so they were eager to give it a try. The individual investors had placed a lot of bets today. Although the amount of bets placed by each individual wasn't very large, with some being 10,000 and some being 100,000, the total amount added up was quite a lot. And so Jianghu was very happy. If Black Bear really won, he'd be able to earn 20 million tonight. Don't worry, young Master One. Didn't you see the Black Bear getting up again and again? If he keeps getting up, sooner or later, Purple Wolf will be tortured to death. Professor Ian said softly. Look, Black Bear is getting up again. The professor's attitude towards Jianghu wasn't very good at first, but after working with him for a few days, he realized that Jianghu wasn't only ruthless, but decisive as well. He was also good at making money. Not only did he provide enough human subjects for the professor to experiment on, but he also brought a lot of profit to the firewolves. Even the leader of the firewolves praised Jianghu's ability, saying that Jianghu was good at making money. This made the professor unable to underestimate Jianghu anymore. And so, the professor's attitude towards Jianghu became a lot more respectful. Sure enough, after the Black Bear was knocked down, it crawled back up from the ground. Step by step, it walked towards Purple Wolf. Although Purple Wolf could send Black Bear flying with one punch, it wasn't like he didn't get hit by Black Bear's attack. Although Black Bear's attack wasn't enough to send him flying, it was still quite powerful. Purple Wolf even wondered how Black Bear could throw such a heavy punch with such a skinny body. Although he didn't say anything, he was already suffering from serious internal injuries. Seeing Black Bear get up again with red eyes, Purple Wolf started to get annoyed. Why was Black Bear like a cockroach that couldn't be killed? Again and again. He sent him flying with heavy punches, but he got up from the ground again and again. Purple Wolf was sure that he had broken all of Black Bear's ribs. How could he still stand up in this situation? Wasn't he in pain? Seeing Black Bear rush towards him, Purple Wolf could only continue to fight. There were no rules in this underground arena, and there was no such thing as surrendering. There was only one result, and that was a fight to the death. One side had to beat the other until they couldn't move, and that was victory. Bang! Black Bear didn't fear death, and he punched Purple Wolf in the head. Purple Wolf saw stars, and his head was ringing. He had a concussion. Yes, he had a concussion a few times already. Black Bear didn't care about his heavy punches, and instead used this method to fight head-on with him. When Black Bear hit Purple Wolf's head, he was also sent flying by Purple Wolf. Once again he fell to the ground. Purple Wolf felt like his head was going to explode, and the pressure inside increased. He knew that if he didn't go to the hospital soon, he would be finished. He was in a hurry, and he wanted to quickly finish the fight and go to the hospital for treatment. However, Black Bear miraculously got up from the ground again, and he charged again. Roar dash, Black Bear didn't fear death, and once again, he punched Purple Wolf's head. Bang! A loud sound rang out, and Purple Wolf's ears, nose, and mouth spewed out a large amount of purple blood. Then he fell to the ground. The moment Purple Wolf fell to the ground, Purple Wolf also attacked. Black Bear's body was sent flying again, and he fell to the ground. The audience was in an uproar. The undefeated and ever-victorious Purple Wolf had fallen, and he was bleeding from every orifice. Purple Wolf, stand up. Purple Wolf, stand up. Kill Black Bear. Stand up. Stand up. Motherfucker, I bet 500,000 yuan. You motherfucker, stand up. Don't play dead. However, what happened next made everyone disappointed. The one who stood up wasn't Purple Wolf, but Black Bear. Black Bear stood up, and both his hands were raised high. His eyes were still red, and even though he looked like a bloody gourd, he won. He was the last person to stand up. Chapter 1009. Chapter 1007 Inches Fact. He couldn't stand up anymore. He was already dead. Dejected shouts and curses filled the air. They were the ones who had placed their bets on Purple Wolf. Now that Purple Wolf was dead, their money was gone. They didn't even have a single cent left. Kaka! Jianghu looked at the victorious Black Bear and laughed. Not bad, we really won. This Black Bear is not bad. He has potential. We can use him as a trump card next time. Master One, this Black Bear can only be used once. The professor shook his head with a smile. Why? Jianghu blinked. He's only been able to hold on until now because of the medicine. Once the medicine wears off, He can only wait for death because many of his internal organs have been destroyed. There's no way he can survive. Professor Yin said. I see. What a pity. Jiang Wen's face showed a trace of pity. Man, what a tragedy. Master One, you're a man of greatness. It's just 1 or 2 people dying. What's there to pity? Don't be sad. Scorpion said carefully. He was sent by the firewolves to help Jiang Wen, but he was also the one who would take the blame. The firewolves were very kind, however, and had already arranged for Scorpion's family so that he wouldn't have to worry about them. Who said I'm pitiful? Jiang Wen rolled his eyes and waved his hand. I'm just worried about his organs. They're all destroyed. That's another 1,000,000. Scorpion's face twitched. This Master One was really cruel, so it was because Black Bear's organs couldn't be sold for money. Hurry, get someone to take Purple Wolf and Black Bear down and see if there's any organs left. We'll cut them off and sell them. It'll be a great source of income. Jiang Wen waved his hand at Scorpion. Yes. Scorpion nodded and went to do it. Jiang Wen was a bold and ruthless man. He might be running an underground arena, but he'd found another way to make money, and that was by cutting off the organs of the dead fighters and selling them. In the past, Jiang Wen only sold the kidneys, but now he was cutting them all out. Corneas, kidneys, hearts. As long as they could be sold, he would cut them all off and sell them. The rest of the bodies would be thrown into his crocodile pond to be digested. As a result, Jiang Wen's profits from tonight's match wasn't limited to just the sparring itself. This was also why Fire Wolf Edition valued Jiang Wen so much. Jiang Wen had gotten into trouble before, but the Fire Wolves weren't afraid. They had plenty of people, and it wouldn't be easy to find a scapegoat. As long as you have the ability and can make money, that's enough for you. The fighters in Jiang Wen's arena, on the other hand, were hired from the internet to train underground fighters. There were also some who were lured in by benefits, such as security guards and farmers. They were told that they could earn 100,000 yuan from a match, and no matter if they won or lost, they'd still be guaranteed 100,000 yuan. But if they won, they'd get an extra 100,000 yuan. As a result, there was an endless stream of people coming to fight. The advantage of this type of people was that their whereabouts were originally uncertain. Many of the security guards were temporary workers. They worked today and quit tomorrow, so their mobility was relatively high. It was the same for migrant workers. If 1 or 2 of them were missing, it would not attract the attention of others. It was the same for the gangsters too. Many of them were ready to run away after committing a small crime, and some of them disappeared all of a sudden. Their companions didn't even know if they committed a crime or ran away. Of course, it didn't matter even if they knew. If they really found Jiang Wen, he could just say that they earned money from fighting and took it away to enjoy life in another city. As a result, the underground arena never lacked fighters or spectators. If it wasn't targeted by the police, this would be a profitable business. It was also a business that didn't cost anything. Of course, Jiang Wen was an expert in businesses that didn't cost anything. Master One, other than one of Purple Wolf's retina, the rest of his organs are fine. Black Bear, on the other hand, only 2 of his retina and his left kidney are fine. The rest are all ruined. Scorpion reported after a while. Black Bear's dead? Jiang Wen nodded. Not completely dead, but he's on the operating table now. Scorpion said. Not bad, there's still some use to him. These are worth a few 100,000. Jiang Wen nodded, satisfied. Tomorrow, you and Fighter Li will continue to go out and find more people to fight here. I'll go play with the girls first. Yes, Master One. Scorpion nodded and sent Jiang Wen off. Jiang Wen had earned quite a bit these past few days. Lin Yi's sudden recovery pissed him off. He wasn't able to take advantage of the situation and marry Meng Yao, but he didn't dare go against Lin Yi without Fighter Li's explicit support. Fortunately, he had earned a lot of money these past few days. He booked a couple of virgins at the Starlight Hotel, going there with Tai Zhao every day to make up for the unhappiness in his heart. However, as far as Jiang Wen was concerned, these virgins were quite pure, but they were far from Meng Yao. His dream was still to push Meng Yao down. Meng Yao, you won't be able to escape from my palms. Once I have a certain position in the Firewolves, I'll have a large group of masters to order around. Lin Yi would be nothing then. Jiang Wen was only a lowly representative of the Firewolves, but he had heard some news about the Firewolves from his father. The Firewolves were a super big gang with many masters, even stronger than the hidden houses. Jianghu even heard that the firewolves had a super powerful force behind them. He didn't know what it was exactly, but if it was stronger than the hidden houses, then it had to be a powerful existence. Fighter Li was the master that the firewolves gave to Jianghu. He had the strength of a mystic mid-phase, a very powerful master. It was rare in the common world. Only some of the noble houses could see him. However, Fighter Li didn't show up yet. After all, Fighter Li was here to hold the fort. Only when there was an opponent that couldn't be dealt with would Fighter Li be sent up. Under normal circumstances, Fighter Li was like Jianghu, eating, drinking, and having fun. Chapter 10:10. As a reward, but there was one thing that puzzled Jianghu. He noticed a weird phenomenon, and that was that whenever it was quiet at night or when he was extremely excited, he would yell at the sky for no reason. Jianghu didn't know what was going on, but he didn't think much of it. Yushu and Xiaoxiao were singing, but it was obvious that they were shouting at each other. Whatever song Yushu sang, Xiaoxiao would sing as well, and then another song after that, and Yushu would turn around and sing Xiaoxiao's song as well. It was like a relay race, and Meng Yao couldn't interfere at all. Finally, the two were so tired that they didn't have the energy to continue singing, and the group prepared to leave the KTV. "I'll let you go today, but we'll fight for 300 rounds another day." Xiaoxiao glared at Yushu. "You're welcome to challenge me, okay? You're too weak in front of me, singing Shu," Yushu said. Meng Yao and Tang Yun looked at each other, a bitter smile on their faces as they separated Yushu and Xiaoxiao. Lin Yi paid the bill at the bar on the first floor. Lin Yi could have called Zhou Tiandi, and Zhou Tiandi would have been more than happy to give Lin Yi a free bill, but it wasn't a lot of money, and Lin Yi didn't want to waste time. He paid the bill and left the KTV with Meng Yao, Yushu, Tang Yun, and Xiaoxiao. Falbert's car didn't leave. It was still parked in front of the KTV. Evidently, Falbert had lost his strength, but he was still a responsible driver. "Yao Shu, you guys take Falbert's car home first, I'll drive Yun Yun and Xiaoxiao back," Lin Yi said to the Mississippi. "Okay." The miss nodded. She wanted Lin Yi to go home earlier because she wanted to ask Xiaoxiao what was going on, but she couldn't say it out loud. She could only purse her lips and let it go. Yushu, on the other hand, was still glaring at Xiaoxiao angrily. She hadn't decided a winner yet. Lin Yi, Tang Yun, and Feng Xiaoxiao got on the beetle. Lin Yi started the car and asked, "Xiaoxiao, are you going back to school to get your car, or do you want me to send you back? Can you send me back and come pick me up tomorrow?" Xiaoxiao looked at Lin Yi pleadingly. "I have to pick up Tang Yun tomorrow morning." "Take a taxi," Lin Yi said faintly. "Oh, can't you pick me up on the way? I am your concubine. You can't favor one and discriminate against the other." Xiaoxiao was already treating herself as Lin Yi's mistress, and now that Tang Yun had admitted it, her courage grew. If it were any other time, Tang Yun wouldn't be happy if Xiaoxiao acted like this to Lin Yi in front of Tang Yun. Even if she didn't say anything, she wouldn't feel good about it. But after knowing about Xiaoxiao's illness, her attitude changed completely. She even hoped that Xiaoxiao could live a happy life in the last few days. So no matter what Xiaoxiao did, Tang Yun had a forgiving heart. She kept telling herself that she had to accept Xiaoxiao sincerely and treat her as Lin Yi's woman, as her own sister. "Where's your house?" Lin Yi asked. "It's near school, not far. It's really close, in front of Time Road," Xiaoxiao said. "Oh, tomorrow it is then. No more next time," Lin Yi nodded. Time Road wasn't far, and it was on the way. "Lin Yi, you're the best. I've decided to give you a kiss as a reward," Xiaoxiao said happily after seeing Lin Yi agree. "Is this a reward, or are you trying to take advantage of Lin Yi?" Tang Yun looked at Xiaoxiao with a smile that wasn't a smile. Tang Yun sis, you're making fun of me." Xiaoxiao blushed, but after some hesitation, she said in a very low voice, "Tang Yun sis, can you really accept me and not act out of spite? We're in a dangerous situation right now. That Yushu is very cunning, and we should work together to defeat her. Otherwise, she'd want to be Lin Yi's mistress as well. If we were to fight amongst ourselves, our enemies might take advantage of it." Tang Yun had already accepted Xiaoxiao in her heart, but in order to not let Xiaoxiao see through her act, she pretended to be hesitant. "I'll try." "Haha, Tang Yun sis, don't worry, I'll definitely protect your interests." Xiaoxiao patted her chest. I'm a person who knows what's good for me. I'll remember who's good to me, and I'll fight Yushu to the end. Haha. Yushu just likes to mess around. There's really nothing going on between them and Lin Yi. Tang Yun was quite close with Meng Yao and Yushu, and she didn't want Xiao to be enemies with them. That depends on their attitude. Xiao waved her fist. Lin Yi was driving, pretending not to hear anything. In truth, Yushu and Xiao's hostility was giving Lin Yi a headache. It seemed like he had to explain things to the Miss and Shu tonight. Otherwise, with Shu messing things up, there might be trouble. He sent Tang Yun to the hospital first. It was late, but there were still people going in and out. The First People's Hospital was 24 hours, and there were many patients at night. There were ambulances going in and out, so Lin Yi wasn't worried about Tang Yun's safety. Seeing Tang Yun walk into the hospital and disappear from his sight, Lin Yi started the car and prepared to send Xiao back. Xiao, on the other hand, was in the front passenger seat. Tang Yun had already gotten off, so there was nothing to be embarrassed about. Lin Yi wanted to say something to Xiao, but he didn't know what to say. In truth, it wasn't that Lin Yi didn't have feelings for Xiao, but he couldn't get used to the change in attitude. Before, Lin Yi was on guard when he interacted with Xiao, but now that his attitude had changed, he couldn't get used to it. Making him treat Xiao the same way he treated Tang Yun all of a sudden, Lin Yi felt a little awkward, afraid that he'd be exposed. Usually, when Lin Yi interacted with Xiao, he was usually very quiet. Lin Yi, did my dad contact you? Xiao spoke first, not knowing what topic to start with. Xiao felt like she was in a dream for the entire afternoon. She'd worked so hard for so long, and now it had come true. She really became Lin Yi's girlfriend? She was a small wife, but it was still the same, so Xiao didn't care. Chapter 10-11. Chapter 1009. A little tempted. Yeah, he asked me to meet him. What did you say to your dad? Lin Yi pretended like he hadn't met Tianlong before. No, nothing. Xiao was very bold before, but after confirming her relationship with Lin Yi, she became a little more careful. Maybe he wanted to thank you for saving me in Yanjing? Oh. Lin Yi nodded and asked casually. Right, why did you faint all of a sudden? Do you have some illness? Oh. It's nothing. Xiao shook her head. She didn't want Lin Yi to know that she had a terminal illness. If that happened, her revenge would become Lin Yi's pity. What was the point of her revenge then? Humph, Lin Yi, I won't let you go after what you did to me. I'm using you as a love experiment, making you fall in love with me and feel sad for me. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything else. He continued driving. Lin Yi, there aren't many cars out here. Why don't you race? Let me enjoy it. Xiao turned to Lin Yi. Why would I race if I have nothing to do? Don't you know how dangerous it is? Lin Yi frowned. 9 out of 10 car accidents are fast. Do you want to die? Haha. Do I want to die? Xiao shook her head and sighed faintly. Lin Yi blinked, but his heart sank. Xiao's words had a hidden meaning. She didn't have much time left, but Lin Yi didn't know how to respond to that. He could only sigh unnoticeably. He felt even more pity for Xiao now. She was an optimistic girl, and from the moment he met her, Lin Yi had never seen a trace of negative emotions from her. If he hadn't experienced Xiao's body firsthand and heard his comrade Tianlong tell him about Xiao's condition, he wouldn't have believed that this pretty girl wouldn't be able to live for very long. He realized that he really liked the girl in front of him if he put aside the guilt and worry he had for Tang Yun. Lin Yi didn't want her to die, but there was nothing he could do. Even the old man couldn't do anything about it. There was nothing Lin Yi could do. Lin Yi was called a miracle doctor, but that didn't mean that he was omnipotent. He could cure some known diseases and change people's fates, but for unknown diseases, he didn't even know the cause. How was he supposed to cure them? Hey, Lin Yi, do you like me? Xiao gave up on the idea of letting Lin Yi race. She knew that Lin Yi was stubborn. He would do what he said, and he wouldn't change his mind easily. Lin Yi didn't answer. You really don't like me? Not even a little bit? Just a little bit? Xiao didn't give up. Lin Yi still didn't answer. Hey, when you touched me at the auction, didn't you feel anything? Xiao was starting to panic. Yes, Lin Yi answered. Xiaoxiao's words were getting more and more out of hand. Then, are you interested in me? Xiaoxiao was happy to hear the confirmation, and she continued to press her advantage. A little bit. Lin Yi nodded. Then why did you reject me? Xiaoxiao was a little confused after hearing Lin Yi's words. No, I just started to like you a little bit today, Lin Yi said. I had some feelings when I was in Yanjing, but I wasn't sure. Lin Yi did have some feelings for Xiaoxiao before, but because he was on guard against her, Lin Yi kept that feeling in his heart, only releasing it today. Ah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Xiaoxiao waved her hands around excitedly. Looks like hard work pays off. So you agree to let me be your small wife? Tang Yun agreed. Lin Yi asked. Yeah, of course Tang Yun's sis agreed. Why else would she let me be alone with you? Xiaoxiao nodded excitedly. You didn't force her, did you? Or did you set a trap for her to accept you? Lin Yi asked. Ah, that. Of course not. Xiaoxiao naturally wouldn't admit it. Tang Yun's sis only accepted me because I'm a good person. Lin Yi almost crashed the car into a tree. Good person? But Lin Yi knew what was going on, so he didn't expose her. What are you laughing at? Xiaoxiao saw Lin Yi's weird smile and was a little pissed. Tang Yun's sis really accepted me on her own. Lin Yi shrugged. I really don't know what you're thinking. You're a pretty girl, what kind of boyfriend can't you get? You just have to be someone's small wife. So what? Xiaoxiao didn't care. If I don't do it, there'll be plenty of people fighting for it. Like that Yushu, she's always acting cute. Lin Yi, don't get seduced by her. Lin Yi shook his head. Now that Xiaoxiao and Yushu were at loggerheads, it would be quite a headache for him in the future. We're at Time Street. Where's your house? Lin Yi's car arrived at Time Street as they spoke. Turn left at the intersection up ahead, and you'll be there in about 500 meters, Xiaoxiao said as she looked at the road. 500 meters wasn't too far, and it only took a blink of an eye for Lin Yi's car to arrive at the entrance of a small district. The district was huge, but it wasn't a luxurious one, and one could see that Xiaoxiao's family wasn't too rich. Lin Yi thought about it and agreed. Xiaoxiao lost her mother when she was young, and she was raised by Tianlong alone. Tianlong's annual salary was high, but it was only around $1 million a year, and he couldn't afford a luxurious villa like that. It's here. Xiaoxiao directed Lin Yi to drive the car into the district and stopped in front of a building. I live here, Unit 3, top floor. Be careful upstairs. Text me when you get home. Lin Yi nodded. In actuality, Lin Yi was just saying it casually. The security here was quite good, and there'd be security cars passing by every once in a while. Normally, there wouldn't be any bad guys. Plus, there was an electronic door at the entrance, and the elevators inside had surveillance cameras as well. Don't you want to go up and sit for a while? Xiaoxiao suddenly didn't want to leave. She was too happy today, and she was afraid that it was all a dream, that she'd realize it wasn't real when she got upstairs. Chapter 10:12. Chapter 10:10. The feeling of love. But, as Xiaoxiao got more and more into the relationship and her father's strong support, Xiaoxiao started to feel lost. She didn't know if she was doing the right thing. If Lin Yi really did fall in love with her, wouldn't it be painful? No, it's late. Go back and rest, Lin Yi said. Isn't your dad back? It's not good for me to go. He didn't go home, he's staying at a hotel. I think he has some other mission, and he's going out at night. He doesn't want to disturb my rest. Xiaoxiao shook her head. Her dad was really busy, and Xiaoxiao was used to living alone. I see. I won't go then. See you tomorrow, Lin Yi smiled. Oh. Okay. Xiaoxiao was a little disappointed. Can you kiss me then? Xiaoxiao suddenly raised her head and looked at Lin Yi, her bright eyes shining like stars in the night sky. It made Lin Yi's heart skip a beat. He had the urge to kiss her, but Lin Yi controlled himself well. Wasn't his development with Xiaoxiao a little too fast? Let's go upstairs and sleep. Lin Yi didn't reply to Xiaoxiao. Oh. Xiaoxiao was a little disappointed. She really wanted to know what it felt like to kiss someone. She'd never had this kind of experience before. She used to feel disgusted whenever she thought about getting close to a guy, but with Lin Yi, she was looking forward to it. I'm going, Lin Yi said to Xiaoxiao. Go upstairs. Okay. Xiaoxiao hesitated. She didn't know where the urge came from, but she stood on her tiptoes and kissed Lin Yi on the cheek. She didn't wait for Lin Yi to say anything and jumped away, giggling. She was afraid that Lin Yi would get mad, so she waved at Lin Yi. Haha, I'm going. It feels good. With that, Xiao sprinted towards the door of the building. Lin Yi smiled as he looked at Xiao running away. He touched his cheek. That moment felt pretty good, and he had the urge to run over and hug Xiao. He knew that if he wanted to do something with Xiao, this girl wouldn't reject him for sure. She was different from Tang Yun, who was reserved, while Xiao was hot and passionate. He could tell that she didn't really reject him when he touched her boobs in Yanjing. But Lin Yi didn't do that. It was just an impulse. It wasn't love from the bottom of his heart. Indeed, Lin Yi liked Xiao a little, but Lin Yi didn't want the two to do anything too soon. Seeing Xiao go up the stairs, Lin Yi went back to his car and drove away. Xiao ran into the elevator in one breath. In the elevator, she was holding her chest and panting, her face as red as a cooked lobster. She was bold, but this was the first time she kissed a boy. Even if it was the face, it was enough to make her feel shy. But that electric feeling made Xiao fascinated. No wonder so many young men and women wanted to be in a relationship. This feeling was really good. Xiao touched her burning cheek. What did it feel like to be kissed? Kissing Lin Yi already made her feel so good. If she were to be kissed by Lin Yi, would she feel blissful? In a daze, the elevator reached the top floor. Xiao got off and went to her house. Xiao's house wasn't one of those luxurious villas, but it was a big duplex. Even if it was bought a few years ago in Songshan, it would still cost a few million. But Tianlong didn't use money much, and he knew that his daughter didn't have long to live. He didn't think about saving up, and would always try his best to provide his daughter with the best living environment possible. Xiao opened the door and rushed into the bathroom, washing her burning face with cold water. She needed to cool down. Phew! Xiao breathed out in relief after washing her face. Looking at her pretty face in the mirror, Xiao waved her fist and said to herself, Xiao, you're the best. You can do it. Lin Yi's starting to like you. But after Xiao cheered herself on, she sunk into a strange feeling once more. Was this what it felt like to be in love? She seemed to really like Lin Yi. It didn't matter. She was going to die anyway, so she just wanted to experience the feeling of being in love. The more she immersed herself in it, the better it would feel. With that thought in mind, Xiao didn't plan on controlling her feelings. After leaving the bathroom, Xiao sent a text to Lin Yi. Honey, I'm home. Lin Yi was almost home when Xiao's text came. He was a little worried about why Xiao hadn't texted him for so long, but now he was relieved. Lin Yi replied to Xiao, I'm almost there too. Not long after Lin Yi's reply, his phone rang. Lin Yi thought it was Xiao, and because he was driving, he didn't look at the caller ID. He picked it up. Xiao, what's up? Xiao's such a nice name. I'm not Xiao, I mean Yun. Tang Yun's voice sounded angry, but she couldn't help but laugh when she said, Yun. It's so awkward to call myself Yun. Haha, I just got Xiao's text when your call came. I thought it was her. Lin Yi knew that Tang Yun wouldn't be jealous. She was an extremely kind girl, and after knowing about Xiao's tragic life, all she felt was pity and sympathy. She wouldn't have agreed to Tianlong's request otherwise. I'm just asking, are you home yet? I'm just worried. It wasn't that Tang Yun was worried about Lin Yi driving alone at this hour, but she was worried about the people who'd caused trouble for Lin Yi before. They'd all been taught a lesson by Lin Yi, but who knew if they'd given up or not? Would they wait for a chance to take revenge? I'll be home soon. Lin Yi said, Right, I didn't get the chance to ask you because Xiao was here. What did you and Xiao talk about? What kind of agreement did you make? Why does it seem like she's picking up a big bargain as a concubine? Chapter 10:13. Or do you like to be stupid? Tang Yun didn't hide anything and told Lin Yi everything she and Xiao talked about, including the agreement they made. Lin Yi's eyes went wide as he listened to Tang Yun's explanation. He didn't expect Tang Yun to be this smart. Not only did she protect her position, but she also made Xiao feel like she got a great deal. Yun, I didn't expect you to be this smart. Lin Yi sighed. Humph, Tang Yun was a little proud. If I wasn't smart, I would have been kicked out a long time ago. Xiaoxiao's lesson last time reminded me that I'm not as stupid as I used to be. Ha ha. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't say much. Tang Yuan maturing a little was something to be happy about. After all, people had to grow up. Right, what are you going to tell Meng Yao and Yushu tonight? Yushu seems to be a bit hostile towards Xiaoxiao, Tang Yuan said helplessly. Then I'll have to tell them the truth. Lin Yi said, Yao Yao and Shu are both reasonable people. After knowing about Xiaoxiao's situation, they won't trouble her anymore. Yeah, that's true. But you still have to tell them that they shouldn't lose their hostility towards Xiaoxiao all of a sudden. This way, Xiaoxiao will definitely be suspicious. It's best for them to slowly accept Xiaoxiao. Or like me and Xiaoxiao, it's better to wait for an opportunity. Tang Yuan suggested. I understand, I'll tell them. Lin Yi knew that Tang Yuan was right, but with Yao Yao and Shu's intelligence, they should be able to handle things perfectly. You're driving, right? Then I won't bother you anymore. Drive safe. See you tomorrow. Tang Yuan smiled. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Lin Yi nodded. Lin Yi was almost at the villa area, and he hung up. It was only a few minutes away, and he parked the car in the villa's yard. Lin Yi entered the mansion and as expected, he saw Yao Yao and Shu watching TV in the living room. Shu was in the middle of all the excitement, dancing around and not noticing Lin Yi's return. Meng Yao couldn't help but give Yushu a kick. Shu! Ha! Yushu paused before realizing that Lin Yi was back. She remembered that she had something to ask Lin Yi. Shield bro, you're back? What was up with that Xiaoxiao today? Do you not like Shu anymore? Are you looking for someone similar to Shu to have a threesome with Tang Yuan? Shu! Meng Yao glared at Yushu. What the hell is going on in your head? Don't always talk nonsense. If a girl speaks so crudely, how will she get married in the future? Oh, if Shield bro doesn't want me anymore, I'd rather die. Why would I get married? Yushu said sadly. Alright, Shu, stop messing around. Lin Yi looked at Yushu. You knew something was wrong, didn't you? Oh. Yushu blinked. She did think that Xiaoxiao's sudden appearance was strange. Logically speaking, Lin Yi wouldn't accept a girl as a small wife for no reason, and Tang Yuan wasn't the type to share Lin Yi with anyone. If Tang Yuan was willing to give Lin Yi a small wife, she wouldn't have fought with them at Fatty Lai's house. Meng Yao paused as well. She also felt that something was wrong tonight, but she didn't tell Shu. She only told Shu to wait for Lin Yi to come back and ask Lin Yi what was going on. She didn't think that Shu would notice something was wrong as well. Man, this is so boring. Shield bro, why do you keep exposing me? Yushu said dejectedly. Haha, I still like you when you're dumb. Lin Yi smiled. The reason why Lin Yi said that Yushu had noticed something wrong with Xiaoxiao was because of Yushu's attitude towards Xiaoxiao. The two were bickering, but it didn't develop to the point of actually attacking her. With Yushu's personality, she wouldn't work with someone she hated to mess with someone she hated. Oh, that's good. Yushu was happy again. Shield bro, that Xiaoxiao, what's going on? The reason why Yushu was happy was because she felt that Xiaoxiao was the not dumb version of herself, but Lin Yi said that she still liked the dumb version of her. That meant that he liked her more than Xiaoxiao. Of course she was happy. I'll tell you guys about Xiaoxiao, but you guys have to keep it a secret. Lin Yi nodded as he turned to Meng Yao and Yushu. Don't worry. My nickname is Secret Shu. I won't say anything I can't say. Yushu nodded. Meng Yao didn't say anything, but she nodded as well. Xiaoxiao doesn't have much time left. Lin Yi sighed as he sat on the sofa in front of Meng Yao and Yushu. Ah, doesn't have much time left? Meng Yao paused, her face changing. Lin Yi, you're saying that Xiaoxiao. That's right. Xiaoxiao has a terminal illness, and even I can't do anything about it. She'll reach the end of her life in a year at most. Lin Yi sighed. Meng Yao and Yushu's eyes went wide as they looked at Lin Yi, stunned. Lin Yi continued. Xiaoxiao's father and I are really good friends, so he asked me to say that Xiaoxiao hasn't tasted love yet. He wanted me to agree to work with Xiaoxiao and pretend to be her boyfriend until the day she leaves. With that, Lin Yi told Meng Yao and Yushu everything that happened in the afternoon. And Tang Yuan was very kind, so she agreed first. Did Tang Yin agree to it? Meng Yao was a little surprised. She didn't think that Tang Yuan would be this kind, giving Lin Yi away. Yeah. Lin Yi nodded. Yao Yao, Xiao, so pitiful. Yushu was starting to regret going against Xiao today. She was about to die. Why did she go and fight with her? Lin Yi could stay by her side for the rest of his life. But what about Xiao? She'd have a year at most. Yeah. I really didn't think that Xiao would have a terminal family illness. Meng Yao sighed. No wonder Tang Yun accepted her. Chapter 10:14. Can't wait. Don't worry, Lin Yi, Shu and I know what's important. Meng Yao nodded solemnly. Plus, Shu and I promise that we won't be hostile towards Xiao anymore. You can bring her to the villa as a guest. Ha! That's not necessary. Don't change your attitude towards her all of a sudden. There needs to be a process. Lin Yi shook his head. Xiao isn't stupid. If you guys suddenly change your attitude 180 degrees, do you think she wouldn't be suspicious? That's true. Meng Yao nodded. Then how should we cooperate? Meng Yao was a sensible person, and after hearing about Xiao's situation, she sympathized with her. If there was anything she could do for her, she would be more than happy to do it. But her personality made it so that even though she wanted to help, her tone was still very calm. Don't try to get close to her. Just let nature take its course. Lin Yi didn't know what to do, and he could only take it one step at a time. At least if Shu and Yao were hostile towards Xiao, then there wouldn't be many conflicts in the future. Oh, leave it to me. Yushu, on the other hand, patted her chest confidently. I'll keep arguing with her, and then we'll get to know each other better, and we'll become good friends. Lin Yi's eyes twitched. He was really afraid that Yushu would use too much force and break her chest, but Lin Yi couldn't help but admire Yushu's idea. It was the most feasible one. Haha, Shu, I'll be troubling you then. Lin Yi nodded. Oh, I love helping Shield Bro, but after Xiao leaves, you have to make it up to Shu. Yushu said. Lin Yi's forehead darkened. Shu seemed to be waiting for Xiao to die, but Lin Yi knew that Yushu didn't have any bad intentions. Standing up, Lin Yi said, I'll go see Faubert. You guys keep watching TV, but you can discuss the specifics with Yin. Yes. Meng Yao was interested in interacting with Tang Yun, so she nodded naturally after Lin Yi said it. Lin Yi got up and walked into Faubert's room. Faubert had been living in the villa for the past 2 days. It was also convenient for Lin Yi to heal him. When Faubert saw Lin Yi walk in, he quickly stood up. Towards Lin Yi, Faubert didn't dare to neglect. His respect for Lin Yi came from the heart. Lin Yi could be said to be his savior. If it weren't for Lin Yi, his meridians wouldn't have been repaired. It could be said that Lin Yi's kindness to Faubert could be said to be like a second parent. Faubert treated Chu Pingzhan with the respect of an old friend, but towards Meng Yao, it was more of a love from the heart. The pain of losing his wife and daughter made Faubert treat Meng Yao, who he watched grow up, like his own daughter. Little E, you're back. Although Faubert called Lin Yi Little E, it was also because of Lin Yi's strong request, but his words were filled with respect. Faubert, what do you think? Lin Yi nodded and walked into the room. As for Faubert's attitude, Lin Yi raised it twice, but Faubert was still like this. Lin Yi couldn't do anything about it. After all, Lin Yi knew that his treatment of Faubert, in the Wulin world, was equivalent to giving him a new lease of life. Not bad, just 1 more meridian, I should be able to recover by tonight. Faubert said. All right, then I'll do it today and fix your meridian. Lin Yi was also a little impatient. After all, the strength of an Earth class was not to be underestimated. If Faubert really recovered his strength, then Lin Yi would have a super helper. House Yu, Xiao family's threats would no longer exist. Thank you. Faubert nodded and sat on the bed, waiting for Lin Yi to come over and transfer the pure energy into his body. General Wei Wu. Lin Yi called General Wei Wu. General Wei Wu obediently ran to Faubert's room and squatted there, ready to protect Lin Yi and Faubert. These days, General Wei Wu was used to protecting Lin Yi and Faubert. Woof woof. General Wei Wu barked at Lin Yi, as if telling Lin Yi that it was ready. Lin Yi nodded and sat beside Faubert. He activated the art of dragon mastery and started using the energy in his body to repair Faubert's damaged meridian. After a few days of hard work, Lin Yi had repaired most of the damaged meridian in Faubert's body. Today was the last one. Lin Yi's energy quickly flowed into Faubert's body. Falbert's meridian was recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Falbert couldn't help but moan in comfort. The pure energy that Lin Yi transferred to him was quickly absorbed by him. Before this, Falbert didn't believe that Lin Yi's pure energy could really be used by him without any side effects. However, after a few days, it was proven that Lin Yi's pure energy was really effective on him. It could be said that Lin Yi was very familiar with healing people. After about 15 minutes, the last damaged meridian in Falbert's body was completely repaired by Lin Yi. Now, Falbert was a person who could practice internal martial arts. Although there wasn't a trace of pure energy in Falbert's meridian, Lin Yi could feel the thickness of Falbert's meridian. If there was enough energy transferred to Falbert's meridian, he could immediately recover to become an Earth rank expert. This was the same situation when he dropped a level. It was similar to when he was in an online game. His level was still there, but he didn't have any experience points. This way there was an advantage. As long as there was enough energy, he could once again become an Earth rank expert without any effort. This way, he wouldn't have to break through the bottleneck every time he cultivated. Lin Yi repaired the last meridian in Falbert's body. His heart suddenly surged with a fanatical impulse. That was, he couldn't wait to restore Falbert to an Earth rank expert. Previously, when he was repairing meridian, Lin Yi was still able to restrain himself. Every day, he used a part of his energy to heal Falbert. But now that Falbert's meridian was completely repaired, Lin Yi really couldn't wait. Today is the day. Under the impulse, Lin Yi gritted his teeth. He decided that today, he would continuously transfer energy to Falbert's body. Time waited for no man. Xie Yufeng's sudden appearance today made Lin Yi feel a sense of danger. Chapter 10-15. Master training plan. So Lin Yi felt a sense of pressure. He wanted to have a master by his side so that he wouldn't be afraid of those hidden threats. The reason why Lin Yi chose to restore Falbert's strength today was because of Xie Yufeng's strange actions today. Since he didn't want to expose his strength in front of him, then there shouldn't be any conflict between them for a while. So Lin Yi wanted to build Falbert before Xie Yufeng exposed his strength. After all, he was still safe during this period of time. He didn't need to worry about Xie Yufeng coming to kill him. With that thought, Lin Yi didn't stop transferring energy into Falbert's body. Instead, he waited for Falbert's meridians to recover before he continued using the art of dragon mastery, transferring energy into Falbert's body continuously. Falbert felt that his meridians were healed. He wanted to shout in joy and get up to move his body to feel the feeling of a spiritual master when he realized that Lin Yi's qi was still flowing into his body. Lin Yi. You. Falbert's eyes widened as he looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi only smiled and didn't answer. He was still focused on transferring energy into Falbert's body. Falbert's heart skipped a beat. He understood a little. Lin Yi actually wanted to use the pure energy in his body to forcefully forge himself into a master. Uncle Fu had experienced this kind of situation before. The true qi that his wife cultivated could not only be used for healing, but it could also be used by him to increase his strength. However, every time his wife painstakingly cultivated a year's worth of vital energy into his body, it could only help him increase his strength by a small amount. Luckily, after his wife started training, the only thing she could do was help him train. So, Falbert didn't feel too guilty. After all, this was House Sun's method. But Lin Yi was different. Lin Yi wasn't related to him at all. Healing him and repairing his meridians was already giving him a new lease of life. It used up a lot of Lin Yi's qi. Now that Lin Yi wanted to forcefully transfer his qi into his body, how could Falbert not be excited? And Falbert also realized that Lin Yi's qi could really be used by him. As Lin Yi's qi flowed into his body, Falbert could feel his strength recovering bit by bit. This was the same as when he had just started cultivating internal martial arts. This made him feel like he was cultivating all over again. Looking at Lin Yi's smile, Falbert knew that Lin Yi had made up his mind. Although Lin Yi wasn't old, it was rare for him to change his mind when he was determined to do something. Although Falbert was embarrassed to accept Lin Yi's qi, he was afraid that interrupting Lin Yi at this moment would put him in more danger. Thinking of this, Falbert felt that he couldn't disappoint Lin Yi's kindness. He quickly circulated his sex mantra and mobilized the qi that Lin Yi transferred to him. He coordinated it with Lin Yi's circulation in his body. However, as soon as Uncle Fu revolved his mental cultivation method, the speed at which his body absorbed energy suddenly sped up. Any internal martial arts purpose was to absorb the qi of heaven and earth for one's own use. Therefore, after Faubert circulated his mantra, he was also absorbing qi. However, what he was absorbing was the qi that Lin Yi transferred to him. Lin Yi suddenly felt that Faubert's absorption speed had increased. However, Lin Yi was slightly stunned. He knew that Faubert was cooperating with him. Lin Yi didn't have the slightest intention to stop. The faster Faubert absorbed, the happier Lin Yi was. Although Lin Yi was struggling, after all, if the speed was fast, Lin Yi could quickly enter the space of the jade pendant to restore his strength after transforming Faubert. If possible, one night would be enough. The next morning, Lin Yi could restore his previous strength. Time passed minute by minute, second by second. Lin Yi was constantly transferring qi, and Faubert was constantly absorbing qi. Both of them were like old monks in meditation. Neither of them spoke, but the expression on their faces became more and more serious. Faubert felt that he was about to enter the golden class. This made him pleasantly surprised, and he didn't dare to believe it. One had to know that to forcibly transform a person without any strength into a golden class master, how much qi was needed. So much pure qi, all of it was painstakingly cultivated, and Lin Yi actually gave it to him for free. While Faubert was touched, he secretly swore in his heart that he must repay Lin Yi in the future. This debt of gratitude was simply too great. Lin Yi seemed to feel the growth of Faubert's strength, and a trace of a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He was about to break through. Faubert felt that he had touched the door of the golden class. This made Faubert's thoughts involuntarily go back to the time when he first broke through to the golden class. How excited was he? Boom! This time, Faubert broke through to the golden class without any pressure. His body only trembled slightly, and he smoothly went through the transition from a normal fighter to a golden class master. Faubert's face suddenly showed a happy smile. How did he become a golden class spiritual master so easily? Isn't this too fast? However, after Faubert broke through to the golden class, Lin Yi clearly felt that Faubert's body was absorbing energy at a faster speed, and he was even a little overwhelmed. After checking the remaining energy in his body, Lin Yi slightly frowned. When he repaired Faubert's meridians, he already used up about a third of his energy. Now that he helped Faubert break through to the golden class, there was not much energy left in Lin Yi's body. He was about to reach the critical point. What should he do? Should he give up? Lin Yi was not willing to give up. He wanted to finish building this Master Faubert in one go. Success or failure depended on this one move. However, without energy in his body, how could he continue? That's right. Suddenly, Lin Yi suddenly remembered the process of transferring energy to General Wei Wu. After he entered the space of the jade, as long as his body in the outside world maintained the state of energy transfer with Faubert, he could use the art of dragon mastery in the space of the jade to not only absorb energy, but also transfer it directly to Faubert. He was so stupid. Lin Yi almost slapped his forehead and scolded himself for being stupid. Lin Yi quickly closed his eyes and entered the space of the jade. This was because the energy in his body was almost completely depleted. After entering the space of the jade, Lin Yi didn't care about the conversation with Jiao Lao and continued to quickly use the art of dragon mastery. As the energy in the space of the jade flowed into Lin Yi's body, it continuously flowed into Faubert's body. Chapter 1016. Still puzzled at this moment, Lin Yi's body was like a transfer station, transferring the energy in the jade space to Faubert's body. However, although Lin Yi absorbed the energy very quickly, the energy didn't stay in Lin Yi's body at all. Instead, it flowed into Faubert's body continuously. Faubert's body was like a bottomless pit, constantly swallowing the energy that Lin Yi sent over. Of course, Lin Yi wasn't surprised. Back then, General Wei Wu already needed a lot of energy, let alone a grown man like Faubert. Although Faubert's face was filled with surprise, it didn't take long for it to turn into shock. He originally thought that after Lin Yi sent some energy to his body as a foundation, it would stop. After all, there was a saying that the master led the way, the cultivation was up to the individual. Faubert planned to rely on himself in the future. He didn't expect Lin Yi to be able to send him endless energy. However, the current situation seemed to be different from what he imagined. Because Lin Yi's energy was still being sent over, there was no sign of it stopping. This made Faubert very surprised. Could Lin Yi hold on? Because Faubert felt that he was about to touch the barrier of the early phase of the golden class. This speed of leveling up was probably the first in history, right? Except for General Wei Wu. Thinking of General Wei Wu, Faubert really admired Chu Pingzhan a little. Where did Mr. Chu find such a ruthless person like Lin Yi? He was too fierce. He could create a master just by sitting at home. Although Faubert didn't know who Lin Yi was and which superforce or sect he came from, he could tell that it wasn't simple from the fact that he could create a master just by sitting at home. At least, Lin Yi's background shouldn't be any weaker than his own sect, maybe even stronger. Thinking of this, Faubert's eyes became fiery. If he wanted to take revenge, it was not impossible. It was just that Lin Yi probably wouldn't intervene. When the time came, he would have to work hard on his own. Boom! Without any warning, Faubert broke through again. From the peak of the early phase of the golden class to the middle phase of the golden class. This kind of leveling speed, Faubert could not help but secretly click his tongue. It was too fast. Back then, it took him a few years to go from the early phase of the golden class to the middle phase of the golden class, but how long had it been? Only 3 hours, right? He went from a normal person to a master of the middle phase of the golden class. Faubert couldn't help but feel sorrowful when he thought of those people who cultivated bitterly, or even those who cultivated for their entire lives, but still couldn't improve their strength. Comparing oneself to others was really a case of death. For some people, not to mention the early phase of the golden class to the middle phase of the golden class, they had to go through a very difficult process to get from the early phase of the golden class to the early phase of the golden class. However, within a few hours, Faubert broke through without any pressure. Faubert reaching the middle phase of the golden class caused Lin Yi a lot of trouble. The energy Faubert needed to level up was obviously much more than General Wei Wu. Therefore, Lin Yi felt like his body was like a sieve. The energy rushed through his body without stopping at all, causing Lin Yi's meridians to be filled with a large amount of energy. But in order for Lin Yi to create an Earth-class master, Lin Yi endured it. Once this thing was successful, it would be a historical breakthrough. Perhaps no one would have thought that he would create an Earth-class master's trump card, right? Thinking about it made Lin Yi extremely excited. As time went by, the energy Faubert absorbed in his body kept increasing. Another few hours passed, and Faubert's strength rose from the middle phase of the golden class to the peak of the middle phase of the golden class. Then, it was imaginable that he would have another breakthrough. When the sky outside started to brighten, Faubert already had the strength of the late phase of the golden class. Just a few days ago, Faubert was depressed and thought that he was crippled. The physical strength of the late phase of the golden class that he painstakingly cultivated was gone just like that. But now, not only was he about to have the strength of the late phase of the golden class again, but his spiritual strength was even better than his physical strength. While Faubert was enjoying the feeling of leveling up, Lin Yi wasn't having it so good. After all, a large amount of energy passed through Lin Yi's body, making Lin Yi feel like he was struggling to hold on. Continue. He had to continue. Lin Yi gritted his teeth and continued to silently circulate the art of dragon mastery, so that the energy in his body continued to be transferred to Faubert's body. Finally, Faubert's strength was advancing towards the peak of the late phase of the golden class. Lin Yi's lips curved into a smile. He was about to complete a big leap, and this made Lin Yi inexplicably excited. Lin Yi could clearly feel the change in Faubert's strength level, so as Faubert's strength increased, Lin Yi's heart was also extremely excited. The time to witness a miracle was coming. Under the strong transfer of energy from Lin Yi, Faubert's strength finally broke through to the peak of the late phase of the golden class. A hint of joy appeared on Lin Yi's face. It had only been a few hours, and Faubert had already turned from a normal person to a peak of the late phase of the golden class. It was even faster than taking a plane. It seemed like he had to work harder. Faubert was about to become a mystic class master. The peak of the late phase of the golden class was only one step away from the early phase of the mystic class. Thinking of this, Lin Yi worked even harder to circulate the art of dragon mastery, so that the energy quickly poured into Faubert's body. But then, a strange thing happened. The energy that Lin Yi sent into Faubert's body stopped abruptly, as if he was filling up the gas tank of a car, and suddenly it was full. Although Lin Yi's art of dragon mastery didn't stop, the energy could no longer pass through his body to Faubert's body, and it was absorbed by Lin Yi's own body. What was going on? Lin Yi couldn't help but frown. He could be sure that his hand was still on Faubert's body. Logically speaking, this kind of situation shouldn't happen, but it just happened. Lin Yi stopped circulating the art of dragon mastery, and the energy in the space of the jade suddenly stopped flowing into Lin Yi's body. After resting for a while, Lin Yi circulated the art of dragon mastery again, wanting to let the energy pass through his body to Faubert, but Lin Yi helplessly found that the energy was still being absorbed into his body, and not transferred to Faubert. Chapter 10:17. Within reason, Faubert felt the energy in his body stop flowing, but he saw that Lin Yi didn't open his eyes. He didn't know what Lin Yi was doing, and he didn't dare disturb himself. He had a lot of things he wanted to say, but he could only hold it in for now. But seeing that Lin Yi finally opened his eyes, Faubert quickly said, "Lin Yi, you've given me so much of your energy, your strength. I'm fine." Lin Yi shook his head. "I don't know what's going on, but I'm stuck at the peak late phase of the golden class. I can't give you any more energy." "Haha, peak late phase of the golden class. That's the same as my physical strength before I got injured. I'm already very satisfied with this. It doesn't matter if I can't increase it any further. At least I can continue practicing. This is much better than what I expected." Faubert said with gratitude and sincerity, "Lin Yi, thank you so much. But, you're clearly an Earth class. I want you to become an Earth class. Peak late phase of the golden class. That's not the end." Lin Yi waved his hand and smiled at Faubert's gratitude, but he was still a little confused. Faubert almost froze after hearing Lin Yi's words. Wasn't Lin Yi a little too daring? Earth class? Lin Yi wanted to restore himself to an Earth class? This was something Faubert didn't even dare to think about. Lin Yi was actually this crazy. "What's wrong?" Faubert's scream pulled Lin Yi back to reality. "It's nothing." Faubert shook his head. "Lin Yi, you're really daring, aren't you? An Earth class. How can you create one so easily? You gave me all your pure qi. What are you going to do? Even if you give them all to me, you're only a mystic mid-phase. How can you create an Earth class?" "My strength." Lin Yi smiled bitterly. His situation was rather special. It was really difficult to explain it to Faubert. The energy in his body was not his own, but from the space of the jade pendant. The energy there was endless. Not to mention one Earth-ranked expert. Even 10 Earth-ranked experts would be enough. But Lin Yi couldn't figure out why he was stuck at the peak of the late phase of the golden class when he was transferring energy to Faubert. It wasn't easy for me to become a peak late phase golden class master. I'm already very satisfied." When Faubert saw that Lin Yi had gone through so much trouble, he couldn't help but feel even more grateful. "After all, I used to specialize in internal martial arts. I can continue to cultivate on my own. I was able to break through to Earth class before, so it's not impossible now." Lin Yi sighed. Faubert was right, but Lin Yi couldn't wait to have an Earth class as his bodyguard. Faubert's stagnation made Lin Yi feel a little dissatisfied. After all, the strength that was within his reach was stagnant for no reason. How could Lin Yi not be disappointed? Especially when all the conditions were in place, Lin Yi had the energy he wanted, and it was omnipotent. He could continuously transfer it to Faubert. Why was it stuck? This was a question that Lin Yi couldn't answer no matter how hard he thought about it. "Faubert, how did you feel when the qi stopped?" Lin Yi hesitated and asked. Faubert sighed and raised his head to speak to Lin Yi. "I didn't feel anything special. I just felt that the qi from your side suddenly stopped. That." Lin Yi smiled bitterly. What Faubert said was basically the same as not saying anything. Lin Yi still couldn't figure out what the problem was. Don't worry about me, your own strength." Faubert looked at Lin Yi worriedly. "You seem to have dropped a level?" "I'm fine. Could it be?" Lin Yi was suddenly startled. Was it because he didn't have any energy in his body? Just relying on the energy from the jade wasn't enough for Faubert to break through? Did he need the energy in his body to assist him? Although this guess was a bit far-fetched, Lin Yi could only think of this possibility. Because other than this, he couldn't think of any other problems. It was as if everything was ready and only the east wind was missing. This made Lin Yi take action immediately. "Faubert, I'm going to rest for a while. I need to recover my strength. You should adjust yourself first." Lin Yi didn't say much. He needed to recover his strength as soon as possible. Only then would he know if it was because he didn't have any energy in his body that caused Faubert to be unable to break through. "Okay, Lily, go get some rest." Uncle Fu nodded and said quickly. Lin Yi didn't say much. He turned around and left Faubert's room, walking quickly to his own room. Miss and Shu had already gone to bed. Every night, Lin Yi went to heal Faubert, so they weren't surprised. After Lin Yi returned to his room, he quickly entered the jade space and used all the time he had to recover the lost energy in his body. It was already morning outside. Lin Yi had to make use of every minute and second to train. In the blink of an eye, the sun was high in the sky. It was already noon. Faubert sent Meng Yao and Yushu to school. Although they were surprised that Lin Yi didn't wake up, Faubert told them that Lin Yi had used up a lot of energy to heal him, so he needed to rest. So Meng Yao and Yushu didn't ask any more questions after hearing it. After Faubert sent them to school, he rushed home. He was worried about leaving Lin Yi alone at home. Although General Wei Wu was guarding, Faubert had to be by his side to be at ease. The door to Lin Yi's room opened, and Lin Yi walked out of the room. On the sofa, Faubert, who was waiting anxiously, heard the sound and quickly stood up. He looked at Lin Yi and asked quickly, "Yi, how are you?" "I'm fine, my strength has recovered." Lin Yi couldn't help but feel a little regretful. After recovering his strength this time, he was still in the middle phase of Mystic Division. It seemed that not every loss of energy could bring about an increase in strength. The reason why his strength had increased a few times before was because he had been cultivating for a period of time. The energy in his body had almost accumulated, and he had already reached the barrier to the next level. Therefore, after he lost the energy, he once again absorbed the energy in one go and broke through the barrier, causing an instant breakthrough.